With these questions in mind, Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju once again reunited. No one knew what happened between Ruan Nanju and Sha Rubei when they were alone together. Sha Rubei's eyes were full of tears as she leaned in close to Li Dongyan when he came and called him Big Brother Meng in a voice filled with grievance. What happened? Li Dongyuan asked her. Sha Rubei hatefully glared at Ruan Nanju, whose face was filled with an innocent look. She scared me. Ruan Nanju. 1. Get it straight. I am also very timid. How would I scare you? Sha Rubei. Obviously, you were telling ghost stories just now. Ruan Nanju. Proof? Sha Rubei. What proof is needed? Ruan Nanju. Big Brother Lin. She wants to accuse me without proof. Headaches haunted Lin Chushi and Li Dongyuan. Finally, Li Dongyuan could no longer stand it. He made a gesture and said, Meng ah. Can we not harass the little ladies? Ruan Nanju. What do you mean? Do you mean that I am not a little lady? Li Dongyan's will to live was still very strong, and he instantly corrected, No. Of course not. What I mean is that you are a beautiful goddess. Ruan Nanju, tch. Lin Chushi immediately changed the subject and told Ruan Nanju about everything they'd learned from Ko Shinobu earlier. After listening to the conversation, Ruan Nanju came to the same conclusion as they did, and thought that something was definitely very wrong with Ko Shinobu. Although they were temporarily unable to tell what exactly was wrong with him. Let us go, the sky is almost dark. We will speak again after we return. It was already after school hours to begin with. After a little dallying, the color of the sky slowly darkened. They spoke as they walked, in a hurry to get back to their living quarters before the sky was completely submerged in blackness. By the time they reached the dormitory, it was already dark outside. A blanket of darkness had already enveloped the quiet school grounds. Lin Chushi stood at the corridor to smoke. He turned abruptly the moment someone placed a hand on his shoulder, only to be greeted by the sight of Li Dongyuan. Give me a light, Li Dongyuan said. Lin Chushi nodded and watched as Li Dongyuan leaned in close, using the fire sparks in his cigarette to light his own. What are you thinking about? Asked Li Dongyuan. Lin Chushi shook his head, expressing that he wasn't thinking about anything. He was a little tired today, so he didn't have the desire to speak too much. When did you join Obsidian? Li Dongyuan had a melodious voice. Gentle and captivating, like he was rocking a baby to sleep. How long have you been there? Not very long. A few months. Lin Chushi puffed out some smoke. Who brought you in? Li Dongyuan continued to ask. Ruan Nanju. Lin Chushi felt his mind click all of a sudden. It was a very intriguing state. He felt like he was standing on the caressing softness of floating clouds. So warm and snug, inexplicably making him feel at ease. What about Zhu Meng? Do you know her? Li Dongyan's question ventured deeper. Yes. Lin Chushi felt something was wrong. He wanted to struggle free from this state. Li Dongyuan could also feel Lin Chushi's struggles. He reached out with a hand to place it lightly on Lin Chushi's shoulder. Don't be nervous. I won't ask questions that cross the line. He leaned in close to Lin Chushi's ear and asked in a hushed whisper, Who in the world is Zhu Meng? Lin Chushi's lips parted against his will. And just as he felt that had lost complete control and was about to say that answer, Ruan Nanju's cold and indifferent voice came. Li Dongyuan, is this how you treat one of my people? Li Dongyuan withdrew his hand and gave a smile. Lin Chushi woke up abruptly and realized the odd state he was in a while ago. He tossed away the cigarette in his hand and for the first time in a while, he was pissed as hell. Li Dongyuan, what the hell was that just now? Li Dongyuan shrugged innocently. The cigarette still clamped between his lips. Ruan Nanju started clapping. How amazing. Living up to the name of the leader of White Deer. If these skills were applied inside the door, I fear we would have already made it out by now. Li Dongyuan. Ah, Meng, don't be so angry. Let us leave, Lin. Ruan Nanju was incredibly displeased. He swiveled on his heels to walk away. Stay far away from this person in the future. Lin Chushi nodded his head as he turned around and walked next to Ruan Nanju. Ruan Nanju reached out with a hand to pat on Lin Chushi's shoulder. As if there was something dirty on it. This was the very same spot Li Dongyuan had touched just now. Li Dongyuan wasn't mad about it. Instead, he was smiling. With these questions in mind, Lin Chuxi and Ruan Nanju once again reunited. No one knew what happened between Ruan Nanju and Sha Rubei when they were alone together. Sha Rubei's eyes were full of tears as she leaned in close to Li Dongyan when he came and called him Big Brother Meng in a voice filled with grievance. What happened? Li Dongyuan asked her. Sha Rubei hatefully glared at Ruan Nanju, whose face was filled with an innocent look. She scared me. Ruan Nanju. 1. Get it straight. I am also very timid. How would I scare you? Sha Rubei. Obviously, you were telling ghost stories just now. Ruan Nanju. Proof? Sha Rubei. What proof is needed? Ruan Nanju. Big Brother Lin. She wants to accuse me without proof. Headaches haunted Lin Chuxi and Li Dongyuan. Finally, Li Dongyuan could no longer stand it. He made a gesture and said, Meng ah. Can we not harass the little ladies? Ruan Nanju. What do you mean? Do you mean that I am not a little lady? Li Dongyan's will to live was still very strong, and he instantly corrected, No. Of course not. What I mean is that you are a beautiful goddess. Ruan Nanju. TCH. Lin Chuxi immediately changed the subject and told Ruan Nanju about everything they'd learned from Ko Shinobu earlier. After listening to the conversation, Ruan Nanju came to the same conclusion as they did, and thought that something was definitely very wrong with Ko Shinobu. Although they were temporarily unable to tell what exactly was wrong with him. Let us go, the sky is almost dark. We will speak again after we return. It was already after school hours to begin with. After a little dallying, the color of the sky slowly darkened. They spoke as they walked, in a hurry to get back to their living quarters before the sky was completely submerged in blackness. By the time they reached the dormitory, it was already dark outside. A blanket of darkness had already enveloped the quiet school grounds. Lin Chuxi stood at the corridor to smoke. He turned abruptly the moment someone placed a hand on his shoulder, only to be greeted by the sight of Li Dongyuan. Give me a light, Li Dongyuan said. Lin Chuxi nodded and watched as Li Dongyuan leaned in close, using the fire sparks in his cigarette to light his own. What are you thinking about? Asked Li Dongyuan. Lin Chuxi shook his head, expressing that he wasn't thinking about anything. He was a little tired today, so he didn't have the desire to speak too much. When did you join Obsidian? Li Dongyuan had a melodious voice. Gentle and captivating, like he was rocking a baby to sleep. How long have you been there? Not very long. A few months. Lin Chuxi puffed out some smoke. Who brought you in? Li Dongyuan continued to ask. Ruan Nanju. Lin Chuxi felt his mind click all of a sudden. It was a very intriguing state. He felt like he was standing on the caressing softness of floating clouds. So warm and snug, inexplicably making him feel at ease. What about Zhu Meng? Do you know her? Li Dongyan's question ventured deeper. Yes. Lin Chuxi felt something was wrong. He wanted to struggle free from this state. Li Dongyuan could also feel Lin Chuxi's struggles. He reached out with a hand to place it lightly on Lin Chuxi's shoulder. Don't be nervous. I won't ask questions that cross the line. He leaned in close to Lin Chuxi's ear and asked in a hushed whisper, Who in the world is Zhu Meng? Lin Chuxi's lips parted against his will. And just as he felt that had lost complete control and was about to say that answer, Ruan Nanju's cold and indifferent voice came. Li Dongyuan, is this how you treat one of my people? Li Dongyuan withdrew his hand and gave a smile. Lin Chuxi woke up abruptly and realized the odd state he was in a while ago. He tossed away the cigarette in his hand and for the first time in a while, he was pissed as hell. Li Dongyuan, what the hell was that just now? Li Dongyuan shrugged innocently. The cigarette still clamped between his lips. Ruan Nanju started clapping. How amazing, living up to the name of the leader of White Deer. If these skills were applied inside the door, I fear we would have already made it out by now. Li Dongyuan. Meng, don't be so angry. Let us leave, Lin. Ruan Nanju was incredibly displeased. He swiveled on his heels to walk away. Stay far away from this person in the future. Lin Chuxi nodded his head as he turned around and walked next to Ruan Nanju. Ruan Nanju reached out with a hand to pat on Lin Chuxi's shoulder. As if there was something dirty on it. This was the very same spot Li Dongyuan had touched just now. Li Dongyuan wasn't mad about it. Instead, he was smiling. After patting it clean, Ruan Nanju brought Lin Chushi back to their room to sleep. The entire time, he had refused to speak to Li Dongyuan. The sky was dark, the lights were blown out. The room had fallen into silence, the only thing audible was the steady breaths and soft snores from people who were asleep. Lin Chushi was a little bit tired. He thought that he would have fallen asleep quickly, but even after twisting and turning for a long time, he still could not drift into sleep. It wasn't easy to fall asleep, but even so. Halfway through the night he was woken up by a voice. Having been started awake, Lin Chushi quickly searched for the source of the voice. It came from his upper bunk. Creak, creak. It was as though Ruan Nanju was rolling around on top as if he too couldn't fall asleep. Just when Lin Chushi wanted to call out to him in a whisper, those creaking noises stopped. From the spot above Lin Chushi, separated only by a mattress, someone sang a song. Sachin's name is actually Sachiko. But she's called herself Sachin ever since she was little. Oh, how funny. Sachin really loves bananas, but she can only eat half of her favorite bananas. Oh, how pitiful. Sachin has left for a faraway place. And shall soon forget about me. Oh, how lonely, Sachin. It was a female's voice, one that was supposedly quite young, at that. And yet, the lyrics of the song made one feel their entire body grow cold. Lin Chushi dared not to move. He shut his eyes and turned towards the wall. That voice slowly descended from above, growing louder and louder, as if the one who was singing was climbing down from the bed. Sachin's name is actually Sachiko. But she's called herself Sachin ever since she was little. Oh, how funny. The song was now playing from behind Lin Chushi. He felt his body turn cold. As if the thin blanket on him had lost all ability to keep him warm. Thump thump thump, the thing behind him began to jump on the ground, gradually approaching Lin Chushi. At long last, Lin Chushi couldn't stand it any longer. His eyes flew open and he sat up before turning around and leaning against the wall behind him. However, he realized something was wrong. Borrowing the gleam of light from the moon, he saw that the wall behind him was covered in scribbles of all kinds of malicious curses. And the one that stuck out the most was the name Sachiko written in red ink. Lin Chushi finally laid eyes on the person standing before his bed. No, perhaps that couldn't be called a person at all. It was a young girl with disheveled hair, donning a school uniform. Her body was crooked at a strange angle. She only had one leg, and where the other leg should have been was nothing. As of this moment, she was jumping on the ground with her only leg, singing that song. She originally had her back facing Lin Chushi, but after hearing Lin Chushi sit up, her head turned a whole 180 degrees to look at him. Can you hear it? She asked. Lin Chushi felt his body grow cold. He didn't know whether he should answer her. Can you hear it? She repeated. Hear what? Your song? Lin Chushi forced himself to calm down. The whole room was still fast asleep. He was the only one who had woken up by the voice. Her cries. She was crying, she said. She had cried so pitifully, yet why didn't anyone hear her? Lin Chushi. Who is she? Is she you? The thing in front of him didn't answer. She only said she had done no wrong. Why did they treat her that way? After she finished, the sound of someone crying did indeed fill Lin Chushi's ears. These cries came from outside the window in incredibly pitiful waves. They wailed mournfully as if they belonged to someone who was heavily injured. It hurts. It hurts. I beg of you to save me. I beg of you. Amid the crying, there was miserable begging, a wretched plea. Don't go, please. Lin Chushi's eyes widened upon hearing these words. Finally, he understood. Sure enough, in that very next moment, he heard a familiar voice. Let's go quickly. Don't pay her any attention. She's already a lost cause, she's beyond any help. But another person was hesitating. Save me. Save me. The girl heard their conversation and begged with even more desperation. Don't go. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Let's leave. We would be arrested if someone found out. Do you want to spend the rest of your life in prison? The owner of the voice was growing more anxious. If so, you can stay here alone, I'll be leaving. All right then, all right. His companion finally agreed. There were sounds of hurried footsteps, as if both of them had left. Woo woo woo, woo 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 woo. The girl who was abandoned cried loudly as pain and death held her in their grasp. Her cries became despairingly louder, as well as weaker, and finally, her voice stopped. When he had finished listening to the entire dialogue, Lin Chushi's back was drenched in cold sweat. The voice that said those words belonged to Ko Shinobu and his friend whom they met in the morning. It hurts. Sachin in front of him said, "It really hurts, can you hear it?" Lin Chushi didn't know whether he should answer if had heard it or not. If he answered wrongly, would he immediately be brought away by this thing? It hurts, can you hear it? She was still repeating this one statement. She reached out towards Lin Chushi with a hand. Just when she was about to touch Lin Chushi, something seemed to have stopped her. She let out a sharp cry and vanished before Lin Chushi's eyes. Lin Chushi felt his chest heaving like thundering drums. He discovered a group photo after Sachin left. At a glance, everyone in the group photo were students from the class 2 of 3rd years. This time, Sachin stood in the center of the photo, facing the camera with a brilliant smile. As he was examining the photo, Lin Chushi caught a whiff of smoke in the air. As if something was burning. He lowered his head to look beneath the bed, and realized that the paper talismans under his bed had burst into flames. It seemed like these messy talismans had hindered Sachin, who wanted to attack him just now. The scent of smoke also woke up everyone else in the room. Ruan Nanju was the first one awake. He said, Lin, what happened?" Cold sweat was dripping down Lin Chushi's face, but thankfully, nothing happened to him. He calmly replied, "Nothing. Sachin paid a visit just now." Sha Rubei also woke up. At Lin Chushi's words, she fretfully stammered, "What paid a visit?" "Sachin." "Lin Chushi, everything's over. You can continue to sleep." Sha Rubei. How could she still go back to sleep? Before Sha Rubei could speak, Ruan Nanju snatched her lines and, with such a delicate and fragile voice, he sniveled, Lin, I am so scared, come accompany me to sleep." Lin Chushi. Ruan Nanju. Lin, why aren't you saying anything? Don't you love me? Beside them, Li Dongyuan enjoyed the show. Meng, you should know that I love you. Ruan Nanju, did you hear that? There's even some strange creature speaking in this room. Quickly, come on up. Li Dongyuan. Lin Chushi's face revealed how helpless he was currently feeling. Nevertheless, he truly did have something to tell Ruan Nanju privately. There was no such chance during the day, so this wasn't a bad opportunity. And so after a while, Lin Chushi climbed up into Ruan Nanju's bed. This bed was a little narrow, and so both of them could only squeeze in together. Ruan Nanju very naturally invited himself into Lin Chushi's arms, snuggling deeply into the other's chest and constantly rubbing his face against the other. Lin Chushi whispered, "Stop that. Ruan Nanju, na you hivero. Make me." Lin Chushi. Does being naughty bring you such joy? Forget it, he's probably really happy right now. As the both of them intertwined their limbs together, Lin Chushi leaned in closer to Ruan Nanju's ears to whisper everything that happened just now, before passing the photo to him. Ruan Nanju fell into silence after listening to it for a while. He kept the picture and said, "All right, I understand. Go to sleep. Tomorrow we will discuss this in detail." Lin Chushi. And it was a little hot the last few days. Considering two big men were squeezing together into one small bed, the air right now should have been both tight and stuffy, filled with the thick odor of sweat. However, Ruan Nanju gave off a faint sweet scent. This scent wasn't in the least feminine, it was instead quite fresh and cool. It was the first time Lin Chushi had smelled such a fragrance. He couldn't stop himself from uttering, Meng, you smell so good." Ruan Nanju. This might be Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju, the sweet scent of a virgin. Lin Chushi. If it wasn't for the fact that you can whip out something even bigger than mine, I really would have believed it. Sweet scent of a virgin, my fucking ass. In the end, Lin Chushi never figured out what the scent on Ruan Nanju's body was. After all, a drug is a drug. As long as he lied next to Ruan Nanju, Lin Chushi could sleep soundly. He didn't open his eyes once until dawn arrived. Because of the incident from last night, no one had a good night's rest. Among them, Sha Rubei had it the worst. This lady wore 2 dark circles on her eyes, looking like a panda. Ruan Nanju wanted to poke at her and rile her up. He said something along the lines of, "Oh, what's this? Looks like someone didn't sleep well, huh? Which lover boy were you thinking of?" Sha Rubei angrily hissed, "What lover boy? From where would I get a lover boy?" Ruan Nanju. Don't you have a crush on Li Dongyuan? Sha Rubai's face immediately turned red. She never would have thought that Ruan Nanju would so straightforwardly say those words. Her tears practically fell down. Don't speak nonsense. That's not it. I don't. How dare you say that of me? Don't you like you, Linlin? She originally thought that she could deflect the attack and return it to Ruan Nanju. But who could have guessed that shameless Ruan Nanju would simply nod his head eagerly and admit, that's right. I do like Linlin. Look at how cute Linlin is. Who wouldn't like him? Sha Rubai. Ruan Nanju. Don't dare you fall for Linlin. Sha Rubai. She finally had to acknowledge that she and Ruan Nanju sadly were not in the same league. And so she lowered her head. And dare not say anything else. Ruan Nanju gave her a look that said, oh, how boring it is to score an easy victory. Lu Chushi knew about his love for drama, so he paid Ruan Nanju no attention. Li Dongyuan could also see through Ruan Nanju's intentions, and so the both of them ate their breakfast quietly. Because of what Li Dongyuan did to Lin Chushi yesterday, Lin Chushi gave him no face. Li Dongyuan, however, shamelessly said, Lin, are you still angry? Lin Chushi, Mr. Li, I believe we aren't that close, yes? Li Dongyuan, gosh, I will apologize for my behavior yesterday, alright? Isn't it just because Meng Meng refused me attention? I just wanted to know more about her. Ruan Nanju impolitely said from the side. Li Dongyuan, I am just sitting next to you. You can just ask me whatever you want to know. Li Dongyuan, I am afraid you won't tell me. Ruan Nanju, if you haven't asked, how will you know I won't tell you? Li Dongyuan, then what is your name in the real world? Ruan Nanju, not telling you. Li Dongyuan, Lin Chushi nearly burst into laughter right then and there. However, Lin Chushi acknowledged that Li Dongyuan was not his match. Ruan Nanju was an absolute expert at messing around with people like Li Dongyuan who were a wolf in sheep's clothing. Each time, he would somehow render Li Dongyuan speechless. Right, didn't Sachin come yesterday? Is there anything new? Wondered Li Dongyuan after he finished eating. He was very interested in what happened yesterday. There is. Ruan Nanju immediately fished out the picture Sachin had left behind with Lin Chushi. She dropped this. Li Dongyuan scrutinized the picture. Ruan Nanju propped his chin on his palm. You notice anything? Li Dongyuan, yeah. Xie Rubai looked at the picture from the side. Feeling a little lost at their conversation. What do you people mean, is something wrong with this picture? She picked the picture up and didn't find anything afoot with it. She wasn't to be blamed. If one couldn't remember how the original class photo looked, it was very difficult to find the differences. Lin Chushi realized his memory had improved drastically ever since. There was no need to compare, and he could already recall clearly how the original photo from the files looked like. Ruan Nanju immediately took out the picture had stolen from the archive and held it out for them to see. Sha Rubai let out a gasp when she saw it. There's an additional person, that's right, said Ruan Nanju. Aside from an additional person, 2 others are missing. Sha Rubai. 2 missing. Right after some meticulous searching, her eyes widened in realization. It's Ko Shinobu and his friend. Ruan Nanju gave her a pitiful look. How smart you are. Sha Rubai. Why did it feel like this person was mocking her? 1. Ying ying ying. Mentioned in CH2 before, it's an onomatopoeia apparently referring to the cute cry of a girl that makes people's heart wrench. After hours of searching, nothing could compare to the vibe of, but in all earnest, I think the emoji really gives an accurate visual of how someone looks like when they ying ying ying. Chapter 52. Leaving. They are both group photos of Class 2. Sachiko wasn't in one of them, while Ko Shinobu and his friend are not in the other. The rest of the people in the class seem to be standing in the very same places, but if one were to observe clearly, they could tell that these people were wearing very different expressions. Sha Rubai found a very scary discovery after looking at it. Is this photo taken with the same people in the same place? Yes, Li Dongyuan said, it's definitely not photoshopped in one way or the other. So why did Sachiko leave this photo behind? Sha Rubai didn't dare to touch this photo as if it could scorch her. She quickly put it down. 2 still don't understand though. Judging by Ruan Nanju and the other people's expressions, it seemed that she was the only one who didn't know what was going on. Sha Rubei gave Li Dongyuan a look that begged for help. But Li Dongyuan only responded with a pitiful pat to her head. Don't be in a hurry. In a while, you will understand. Sha Rubei, are you treating me like your pet? Lin Chushi understood why Sachiko had left behind this photo. He looked at these two photos and lightly sighed. Bullying was something that happened in most schools, only. They haven't gone so far to take someone's life. Some teachers were not willing to handle such matters, but they never thought that leaving them be would only worsen the situation. Let's go. Ruan Nanju looked at the time. It's almost lunchtime. We can go ahead and stop them. Li Dongyuan agreed and rose to his feet. Let's go. Ko Shinobu's home was just next to the school. He would leave the school to have lunch at home. They found a hidden place near the school's gates and waited for Ko Shinobu's arrival, but somehow, Ko Shinobu never showed up. Instead, it was that friend of his who did. Having inquired about him before, Lin Chushi and the others knew this person's name was Mugai. He was once in the same class with Ko Shinobu, but had gone to separate classes after the accident happened. Mugai was more muscular in build than Ko Shinobu, and looked as if he was more hot-tempered. He said, "Why are you people looking for me? I don't know anything. Let us find a quiet place to talk." Li Dongyuan said, "After all, you wouldn't want someone else to hear what we will be talking about." Just as Mugai was about to retaliate, Ruan Nanju took out a group photo and waved it in front of him. His expression changed drastically upon seeing it and stopped before he agreed to Lin Chushi and the others' suggestions. And so, the group of people walked to the little hidden forest behind the school's building. Mugai was wearing a very ugly expression while suppressing a dense sense of fear. Ruan Nanju went straight to the point. "You people are the ones who killed Sachin, is it?" Mugai jumped, but after a while, he angrily said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand what you are talking about. She obviously died from an accident? How did she get into an accident?" Ruan Nanju said. "Aren't you and Ko Shinobu?" He still wanted to say something, but Li Dongyuan made a stopping gesture. He looked at Ruan Nanju. "Mind giving me a second?" Ruan Nanju, 5 minutes? Li Dongyuan. "Can be done." Ruan Nanju reached out to take Lin Chushi's hand and both of them turned around to leave. Lin Chushi felt strange as he was taken away by Ruan Nanju. "Why?" "Ruan Nanju, let us go. Give Li Dongyuan 5 minutes and he will take care of this person." Lin Chushi found it hard to believe. Does he really know how to hypnotize? Ruan Nanju, have you forgotten that you almost let him hypnotize you yesterday? It's not strange for the leader of White Deer to possess their own special skills. Both of them were outside, giving Li Dongyuan, who was in the little forest, a bit of time. By the end of the day, they were still competitors outside the door. It's nothing extraordinary that Li Dongyuan refused to let them see his trump card. 5 minutes was neither a brief nor long amount of time to wait. Once they returned to the little forest, Li Dongyuan has already gotten his answer. Repeat that one more time. Li Dongyuan commanded. Presently, Mugai was not in an ordinary state. His gaze looked distant, like he had lost all his consciousness and was numbly repeating what had said just now. "It was Ko Shinobu and me who killed Sachin. During that time, in order to bully her, we wanted to push her onto the trash can, but we mistakenly pushed her to the center of the road. A car drove past and broke her leg." Li Dongyuan. "Could you people have saved her back then?" Mugai's expression twitched a little, as if he wanted to struggle free, but failed. And honestly confessed the scenery that Lin Chushi had heard the night before. "Yes, we could have saved, but we did not. We left. Ko Shinobu pulled me away. He said we would be imprisoned for doing these sorts of things. I don't want to be imprisoned." After listening to Mugai's words, Lin Chushi grew a little angry. It should have been a cold winter on that day, if Mugai and Ko Shinobu had called the ambulance on time. Sachin might not have to die, but they hadn't and had chosen to escape in cowardice. Sachin, who had lost a leg, could only be abandoned in the wintry cold night as she died amid despair and loneliness. This is going too far. Lin Chushi furrowed his brows. Li Dongyuan lightly snorted. The worser parts are coming. He looked at Mugai. So be it if she's dead. Why did your class compose that song that mocked her? Speaking of the song, Mugai shivered. The fearful look on him even more obvious than before. His lips quivered and said slowly, This wasn't originally my intention. It was them who wanted to do this. Ko Shinobu and I wanted to stop them, but we failed. Have you sung it? Finally, Ruan Nanju asked the most important question. Mugai slowly shook his head. No, Ko Shinobu and I didn't sing. We didn't dare to. They were, after all, the murderers who killed Sachin. How would they have no concerns about singing that strange song? Other than them, everyone else in class sang. And so, they all died. These two were originally murderers who should be paying with their lives, but their fear of the song has allowed them to escape death. After Li Dongyuan finished listening to the entire story, came his gentle smile. He slowly fished out a booklet from his pocket, then passed it to Mugai. Come on, you know this, surely? Mugai looked at the words on the booklet as his forehead began to sweat. The fearful look on his face intensified as if there was something he wanted to say. Yet, Li Dongyan's whisper rang into his ears. You wanted to sing it to begin with, so why are you so afraid? There is no need to be afraid. It's very safe here, and so, you can reassuringly, just sing it. Muga's throat rolled, his lips parted, as he sang that song. Sachin's name is actually Sachiko. But she's called herself Sachin ever since she was little. Oh, how funny. Sachin really loves bananas. But she can only eat half of her favorite bananas. Oh, how pitiful. Sachin has left for a faraway place. And she'll soon forget about me. Oh, how lonely, Sachin. Following his singing, Lin Chushi heard the ground shake beneath their feet. He said, take a few steps back. Something is under our legs. My leg is gone, so won't you give me yours? The last words made rolled out from his mouth, and from the ground, a countless number of pale white arms reached out to tightly grab Muga's legs. Lin Chushi originally thought that these arms would pull him into the soil, but Sachiko had unknowingly appeared. She was sprawling in the depths of the forest, crawling slowly towards Mugai with both her arms, and then, she caught Muga's leg. Mugai woke up from Li Dongyan's hypnosis and saw everything that happened in front of him. He let out a piercingly sharp cry as his expressions all twisted in frightful agony. Sachin, I am sorry, forgive me. Sachin cracked a smile. She cocked her head to the side. Grabbed Muga's left leg as she fiercely pulled. Ka-cha! Muga's left leg fell to the ground. Ah! Mugai cried in pain. How painful, Sachin. How painful. Sachin was bathing in fresh blood as she gave a satisfied smile. She said, Sachin, how painful. Pay back to Sachin with your leg, why don't you? Muga's body slumped down weakly after losing a large amount of blood. Sachin hugged that leg, her eyes filled with paradise. She hadn't looked into the direction of Lin Chushi and the others. Reaching out with a hand, she pointed at a certain direction, then made a gesture that signified the number 1. After that, everything disappeared. Mugai, who died, was pulled into the ground. Other than that puddle of blood, nothing else could prove that he had once existed. This was the first time Sha-Rubei had seen such a bloody sight. She couldn't help vomiting as she supported herself on a tree trunk, while the other 3 still retained calm expressions. While Sha-Rubei was vomiting, Ruan Nanju used the chance to take out that photo Sachin had left for them. He took a look at it before passing it to Lin Chushi. Lin Chushi took a look at the photo, and as had expected, there was an additional person in the photo. It was Mugai, who had just died. Mugai was wearing a stiff smile in the photo as he stood next to Sachin. Sachin's smile had brightened up even more, enough to make one's body feel cold, and next to her, there was another empty space. Since I couldn't take a photo with you guys when I was alive, then fulfill my wish in death. Li Dongyuan recited something. What a romantic little lady she is. He gently smiled. Lin Chushi had always thought that Li Dongyuan was a pervert, but now he realized something is really wrong with this person. He then briefly gave Ruan Nanju a look and saw that even he was smiling. These two people are quite alike in a certain aspect. Lin Chushi quietly took a step close to Sha-Rubei, who was scared until her face had turned deathly pale. Let us leave, there is still one more. Li Dongyuan said, aren't we going to take a look at the door? Ruan Nanju suddenly said, door? What door? Sha-Rubei urgently asked. She felt that she had only vomited for 2 minutes, but why does it feel like an entire century had passed? Didn't Sachin point at it? Ruan Nanju said. Don't you people even care for this little lady? Lin Chushi. He too saw Sachin's gesture but hadn't thought that she would be pointing to the door. It's hard-earned for Ruan Nanju to call her little lady in such a calm manner. Will do. Li Dongyuan chuckled. Let us go take a look at the door. Then, they followed the direction in which Sachin had pointed to, and after walking for a distance, they realized that they were heading into the direction of the old dormitory. It seemed like the door was located over there. They came to where the original Class 2 stood, and as expected, what was originally a robbery-proof door had turned into an iron door. It seemed like all they needed to do now was to look for the key, and then they could successfully leave. Meng, why don't we have a gamble? Li Dongyuan suddenly asked. Gamble on what? Ruan Nanju said. Li Dongyuan, gamble on who could guess the location of the key. Ruan Nanju, and the wager? Li Dongyuan, if I guessed correctly, then you must tell me your true identity. If I guessed wrongly I will never bother you again. Ruan Nanju gave him a half smile. Li Dongyuan, aren't you a little too sly? You don't know my identity, to begin with, so how could you bother me? Li Dongyuan smiled and said nothing. Why don't we do it in such a way? Ruan Nanju said, since we're going to gamble, then make it big. If I guessed wrongly, I will leave Obsidian and join White Deer. If you guessed wrongly, you will leave White Deer and join Obsidian. Li Dongyuan stopped smiling, and in his gaze, a profound observing look was mixed into it. Why, don't dare play? Ruan Nanju jerked his chin as he looked at Li Dongyuan with scorn. Lin Chushi was very familiar with this look, it uniquely belonged to Ruan Nanju outside the door. I really don't dare. Li Dongyuan admitted in defeat, his expression a little helpless. I could only guess, but I don't know for certain. Are you certain? Ruan Nanju didn't answer. He turned and left. Li Dongyuan was abandoned behind as he mumbled, saying, Meng, how heartless you are. As he spoke, he even gave Lin Chushi a glare. Lin Chushi returned him a baffled look. In the afternoon, the classes resumed. Ko Shinobu was inside the classroom. In order to stop him from running away, the four of them were standing guard by each of its stairs, wanting to stop him in the next class. Perhaps he was afraid that Li Dongyuan might hypnotize Lin Chushi again, so this time, Ruan Nanju teamed up with Li Dongyuan, and Lin Chushi was teamed with Sha Rubei. Sha Rubei completely didn't look like someone who had been through 4 doors. Throughout the journey, she was either shivering or that her mind would wander. Ring! The recess bells rang. And the students all rushed down the stairs carrying their bags. Lin Chushi was very observant. He was afraid Ko Shinobu would slip out through the crowd, but once everyone was mostly gone, he still couldn't see any traces of Ko Shinobu. So, he went up the stairs to take a look whether Ko Shinobu had gone towards Ruan Nanju's direction. Yet, he ran into Ruan Nanju just as he went up. They had also come to look for Lin Chushi. Ko Shinobu had gone missing. He's not on my side either, Lin Chushi said. Where could he hide? Ruan Nanju scanned the school's surroundings. There are only 2 staircases here. Sha Rubei, guard this place. Shout if anything happens. We will head towards the classroom to take a look. Sha Rubei mumbled as she nodded her head. They went to class 3 but all the students inside had left. Ruan Nanju walked towards Ko Shinobu's desk and saw that his bag was still there. He hasn't gone back. I will take a look in the bathroom. Lin Chushi offered. They went separate ways looking for Ko Shinobu. Lin Chushi went to the male bathroom that was just beside. There are a few cabins in the toilet. Lu Chushi scanned them once and saw no one, so he came back out. Who could have guessed that when he reached the door, the broom that was standing by his side suddenly fell down. Shocked, Lin Chushi turned around. Is someone there? Lin Chushi felt that something was wrong. After he meticulously looked around, he finally found where it had gone wrong. The windows of the bathroom had been opened. This window appeared to not have been opened for very long. Someone had forcibly opened the rusty lock. Lin Chushi climbed up to the window and looked down. From the side of his ear, the sound of wind brushed past. His reflexes were incredibly quick as he immediately took 2 steps backwards. Something sharp had wheezed past his nose. Lin Chushi opened his eyes wide and took a look, only to realize someone was sprawling outside the window. Standing at the little balcony next to the window, holding a sharp dagger. Was the person they had been looking for Ko Shinobu. Fuck, Lin Chushi cussed and shouted loudly, I found him. He's right here. Just as he finished saying these words, Ko Shinobu appeared to be frightened by his voice. His foot slipped and he immediately fell from the balcony. He reached out with a hand to grab the side of it and cried, help me in the next second. An invisible force seemed to be plucking his fingers, one by one, off the side of the balcony he was gripping on. Ah! Ko Shinobu fell from upstairs. The height of the 4th floor was enough to warrant death and had fallen with the back of his head to the ground. All of a sudden, his breath stopped. All of these happened too abruptly. Lin Chushi could not respond in time. When Ruan Nanju rushed over, he only saw Ko Shinobu's corpse that had fallen down below. Ruan Nanju cast Lin Chushi a shocked expression and said, pretty good. Lin, you've saved us a lot of trouble. Lin Chushi, how would I have the strength to throw him out like that? Ruan Nanju, it wasn't you who tossed him out but had jumped himself? Sighs. Third-year students should relieve their stress more often. Accidents are easy to happen with too much pressure. Lin Chushi's face was full of pain. I beg you not to say anything anymore. As Ruan Nanju and Lin Chushi rambled among themselves, Sachin appeared once again. She stood next to Ko Shinobu's corpse and said nothing, as well as did nothing. Lin Chushi thought that she looked a little disappointed. She wasn't to blame. The person she wanted so much to kill had committed suicide on his own in the end. It must have made her feel a little bit defeated. Ko Shinobu's corpse then began to disappear, just like Mugus had, pulled into the soil with a pair of hands. Ruan Nanju then fished out that photo from his bag again and could see that on the photo, someone else had been added. It was Ko Shinobu with a stiff expression, standing right next to Sachin. And Sachin's smile had become even brighter. This photo had finally gathered all of the Class 2 students, a whole 34, and not even one less. Just as they were looking at the photo, it suddenly ignited into flames. Ruan Nanju was afraid of being burned, so he let go, and as the photo fell to the ground, Lin Chushi could hear the clear resounding clank of metal. The others too seemed to have heard it. Ruan Nanju bent down and picked up a familiar-looking key from the pile of ash. He raised a brow. This Sachin is indeed an honest person who kept their word. Lin Chushi, person? Ruan Nanju. All right then, an honest ghost. Lin Chushi. They found the door as well as the key. Finally, they could leave. The four of them ran towards the old dormitory. No longer wishing to stay here any longer. Sha Rubei asked on the journey, what about the others? Should we tell them that the door is opened? There is no need, Li Dongyuan said. If they continue to investigate, they would surely realize the door in the old dormitory. Moreover, there is nothing strange guarding the door in this world. Lin Chushi recalled all the times when they came out. Every time they opened the door, some creature would be guarding it. He wouldn't have known whether those people could successfully come out. However, when they were running out, they had no time to think about how the others were doing. They have already expended all their energy trying to save their own lives. This time, Ruan Nanju didn't unlock the door. He gave the key to Li Dongyuan. Li Dongyuan said, you can do it, Rubei. Sha Rubei nodded her head as she raised the key. Impatient to open the iron door in front of her, there was a click and the iron door opened, revealing the bright white tunnel behind it. At the same time, a piece of paper fell onto the ground. Sha Rubei immediately picked it up and rushed into the tunnel. Li Dongyuan faintly smiled. Meng, see you again. Ruan Nanju looked at him expressionlessly, saying nothing. Li Dongyuan wasn't mad about it. He retained his smile as he walked into the door in front of him. Ruan Nanju reached out at Lin Chushi with a hand. Let us go. Lin Chushi nodded his head and took Ruan Nanju's hand, then both of them entered the tunnel together. A warm light dispersed the sinister air inside the door. Passing through the tunnel, Lin Chushi completed the transition from one world to the other. He came back from the scary world inside the door to the bright and sunlit bungalow. The sight of Toast and Chestnut running inside the room once again greeted his eyes. Lin Chushi sat on top of the sofa and brought the water in front of him to his lips. Chang Qianli came down from upstairs. He saw Lin Chushi and said, "You're back?" "Yup," Lin Chushi answered. "Was it successful?" Chang Qianli asked. "It was. Lin Chushi answered, is Nanju upstairs? Chang Qianli nodded his head. After spending a few days inside the door, it had only been 10 minutes outside of it. Lin Chushi rested for a while on the sofa, only then he went upstairs to look for Ruan Nanju. He knocked on the door and realized that the door wasn't locked. It opened with a light push. Nanju? After pushing through the door, Lin Chushi took a step into the room and froze on the spot. Ruan Nanju had taken off his clothes while a blouse was placed next to him. He was changing his clothes bare-bodied. Lin Chushi's expression suddenly turned awkward. He turned around to leave before Ruan Nanju slowly spoke. We are both men, so why are you freaking out? Lin Chushi. Oh, only then he realized. That's right, both Ruan Nanju and him were men. There was nothing to be shy about. However, although things were said in this way, he still found it difficult to put it past him, just like feeling that Zhu Meng from inside the door and Ruan Nanju who was outside hadn't completely transitioned. As if looking at Ruan Nanju, he would recall that smile of Zhu Meng's against his will. As he thought and thought, Lin Chushi's face turned beet red. Am I really that good looking? Ruan Nanju put on his clothes properly and turned around to see Lin Chushi's expression. Even your face has turned red. Lin Chushi. No, he didn't know how to explain within such a brief time. Ruan Nanju. No? Then am I not good looking? He walked towards Lin Chushi, imposing his domineering air that came with a figure almost 1.9 meters tall. Lin Chushi had even taken a few steps backwards, forcibly stomaching the sight. This is not what I meant. I was just a little unused to it. Oh, Ruan Nanju calmly answered, then asked a question. Then do you prefer Zhu Meng or me? Lin Chushi. Aren't you both the same person? What nonsense of a question are you asking about? Ruan Nanju. Lin Chushi's will to continue living told him the answer. He forced his heart back in. That had practically jumped out and answered in a completely calm manner. Of course, it's big brother Ruan. Only then Ruan Nanju revealed a light and faint smile. As Lin Chushi watched his smile, he lets out a breath of relief. Chapter 53. The real world. There would be people who loathed the mundane ways of life. It was only after they'd experienced a world like those inside the doors they would come to cherish a mundane life's simplicity. The passing cars, the walking pedestrians, the clouds that floated by the horizon and the grasses that sprouted by the side of the road would turn into a source of comfort inside the doors. Lin Chushi and Chang Qianli both laid on the chairs at the top of the building as they bathed in the warmness of the sunlight. Toast and Chestnut were just next to them. Toast jumped around as it wagged its tail, while Chestnut was sprawling next to Lin Chushi and Chang Qianli, comfortably stretching its body and basking in the sun with them. Chang Qianli fell asleep not long later. His breathing gradually became stationary. Lin Chushi was at the brink of falling asleep as well when he heard the sound of an argument coming from downstairs. The voices were quite distant from him, almost inaudible to normal people, but they echoed in his eyes like a soft ringing. He originally thought it was someone arguing in the villa. But as he listened more closely, he realized something about it wasn't quite right. These voices belonged to Ruan Nanju and Chang Yixi. Why are you doing this, Chang Yixi? Your little brother would be unhappy if he knew. These words belonged to Ruan Nanju, and although it sounded calm, Lin Chushi knew, from all that he understood of Ruan Nanju during this period of time, that he was truly angry. That is why he will never find out. Chang Yixi said, Big brother Ruan, I know your intentions meant well. Ruan Nanju, do you? Chang Yixi, but I have no other choices left. Ruan Nanju coldly said, I hope you do. Lin Chushi had never heard such a cold, frosty tone from Ruan Nanju before, filled with absolute disappointment towards the person in front of him. He fell into deadly silence after had said those words. And Chang Yixi no longer explained himself either. The contents of this conversation wasn't very distinct to begin with, if not for the strange tones from both of them. Lin Chushi would never have thought that they were arguing. He pondered over it for a while and guessed that this matter was somehow related to Chang Qianli. But he didn't know what it was about in general. The warmth of the sun made one feel drowsy. As his surroundings gradually quietened down, Lin Chushi slowly closed his eyes. Just as he was about to fall asleep, a black shadow suddenly loomed over him. Lin Chushi abruptly woke up to be greeted by Ruan Nanju quietly looking at him after had opened his eyes. Lin Chushi jumped and climbed down from the chair as he said, "Something the matter?" "Ruan Nanju, get prepared. Accompany me out to see someone," Lin Chushi said. "Alright." After Ruan Nanju said these words, he turned around to leave, neither telling him why they were heading out or who they were going to see. However, this information will make themselves known soon enough. Lin Chushi changed into a new set of clothes and got up Ruan Nanju's car as they headed towards the town. Upon arriving into the town, the car took a turn into a hidden little district. There was something special about this district, seeing how an incredibly tight security was wrapped around it. Lin Chushi was a little curious about it. What sort of people does this little district hold? Wealthy merchants, influential political figures, and prominent superstars. Ruan Nanju said, "The person we will be seeing later has a special identity, so all you need to do is listen from the side." "Alright," Lin Chushi nodded. After the car was parked, Ruan Nanju brought Lin Chushi into a beautiful white-painted villa. Once they entered the villa, Lin Chushi saw a familiar-looking person. It was Tan Zhaozhao, whom had seen before. At this moment, she was wearing a beautiful long white dress, sitting elegantly on top of the sofa with a cup of red wine in her hand. A conservative smile spread across her face when she saw them. You couldn't deny that Tan Zhaozhao had quite a strong aura. Perhaps it was because Lin Chushi had seen her form inside the door, he could not feel any imposing air from her. "Chushi, you came." Tan Zhaozhao smiled at him. "Big brother Ruan, where is he?" Ruan Nanju walked towards her and went straight to the point. Tan Zhaozhao said, "Not here yet. He has quite a proud personality. Please forgive him for anything unpleasant he might say. I will try my best to convince him." Ruan Nanju sat down with a frosty expression. He never believed in the supernatural. Tan Zhaozhao said, "I'd never have thought that he would encounter the doors." Ruan Nanju, did he tell you this in person? Tan Zhaozhao, yes, had thought that he had a dream back then. So big brother Ruan, could you accept this business? Ruan Nanju replied, "Leave that discussion for later after we've met." Tan Zhaozhao nodded her head. As they were speaking, from the outside, a man walked in. Lin Chushi gave an astonished look upon a single glance. He knew this person, or perhaps 80% of the population in this country knew this person. He was the most famous nationwide actor of their generation. Unlike other actors, his superb acting skills had already allowed him to venture globally, and he was working on transitioning into a director with a few already successful films under his belt. Even if Lin Chushi was not someone who'd pay attention to the entertainment circle, he has watched some of his films before. Zhang Yiqing. Tan Zhaozhao called out his name. Zhaozhao. From the perspective of age, Zhang Yiqing looked like Tan Zhaozhao's senior, so let alone the position had claimed within the acting industry. His facial features were naturally intimidating and sharp. Anyone who was meeting him for the first time would think that he wasn't someone easy to get along with. From the way Tan Zhaozhao described him, he was indeed such a person. "This is Ruan Nanju. This is Lin Chushi." Tan Zhaozhao offered a slight smile as she introduced them. "They are the people I mentioned to you before," Zhang Yiqing asked after Ruan Nanju with an expressionless and indifferent attitude. "They helped me through all my previous doors. Big brother Ruan is extremely reliable, a figure that is difficult to find in his industry." Tan Zhaozhao said, "With them, you would never." Before she could finish speaking, Zhang Yiqing stopped her with a gesture and said, "I already know." Tan Zhaozhao, then Zhang Yiqing, "I still need some time to consider." His razor-sharp gaze met Ruan Nanju's for a short amount of time. Both of them weren't people with good temper, and so this exchange of gazes sparked a little flame. Tan Zhaozhao was taken aback. "But your next door is about to come, when that time comes." If Zhang Yiqing, there was another group who contacted me. Ruan Nanju, White Deer? Zhang Yiqing, you know them? Ruan Nanju gave a distasteful smile. He stood up and told Lin Chushi, "Chushi, let's leave." Lin Chushi nodded and followed behind Ruan Nanju as they got prepared to leave. Tan Zhaozhao froze as she watched everything unfold before her eyes. She said, "Yiqing, why did you look for White Deer? The most reliable group in the industry now is Obsidian." "It wasn't easy for me," Zhang Yiqing said. How would one know which one is more reliable without trying? These words made Tan Zhao a little furious. Am I not gambling with my own life with this? What happened? What did the people at White Deer tell you? Ruan Nanju meant it when he said he was leaving. From the moment he left the door, he had not even looked back once, ignoring Tan Zhao's calls altogether. Knowing that nothing could be done, Tan Zhao's only choice was to watch as Ruan Nanju left. After they got in the car, Lin Chushi curiously asked, Nanju, should we go just like that? Ruan Nanju, yes. Lin Chushi, these all are Li Dongyan's doing? Ruan Nanju, who else other than him? He gave a half smile, his expression no longer as tensed as it was in the room. However, this person isn't easy to deal with. We would be putting ourselves in a lot of trouble if we failed. It's not too bad an idea to give him to Li Dongyuan. As Lin Chushi recalled how proud Zhang Yiqing had behaved, he thought Ruan Nanju's words made sense. Zhang Yiqing was not someone easy to get along with, whether it was on the screen or face to face. Speaking of which, Lin Chushi had even thought that White Deer had stolen their business. But the more he looked at Ruan Nanju, the more he felt something was amiss. Finally, he couldn't refrain himself and asked, Nanju, were you the one who leaked news of this to White Deer? Listening to this, Ruan Nanju's hand froze momentarily on the steering wheel. It really was you? Lin Chushi caught that detail immediately and confirmed his suspicions. It really was you who leaked the information to White Deer? Ruan Nanju, was me. Lin Chushi. Why? Ruan Nanju replied very slowly, because I don't like his films. Lin Chushi. All right. I was just kidding. Ruan Nanju smiled, don't take it seriously. Lin Chushi. Why does it feel like Ruan Nanju was absolutely serious about it? After all, I was recommended by Tan Zhao. Ruan Nanju said, I should consider her pride, but since he wasn't willing to accept Obsidian himself, then it has nothing to do with me. Lin Chushi. So, how did White Deer convince Zhang Yiqing? Ruan Nanju. Who knows? He wasn't even a little concerned. After the both of them returned not long later, Lin Chushi received Tan Zhao's call. She had very earnestly apologized for the incident and hoped Lin Chushi would convince Ruan Nanju not to be mad. Lin Chushi, why don't you call him yourself? Tan Zhao, I am scared. Lin Chushi. Tan Zhao, aren't you afraid of Big Brother Ruan? Lin Chushi, at first, but now I am quite alright with him. Although Ruan Nanju's cold and aloof looks often gave the illusion that he wasn't easy to get along with. Lin Chushi thought he was quite alright after had seen him inside the door. How amazing of you. Tan Zhao sighed. I still like the female version of him. Lin Chushi inwardly thought, who wouldn't? Lin Chushi's next door was his sixth. Ruan Nanju has mentioned that they might be going in with Cheng Qianli. Though, it was still too early for that. So they hadn't managed to determine what the overall situation was. Ruan Nanju only made Lin Chushi rest himself, and told him that there was no need to overthink it. The problematic newcomer from before, Qin Bude that Yi Man brought back had just only passed through his second door before he fell into a severe state of depression. He refused to eat or move around, and instead spent most of his time in the living room, which caused him to only get skinnier as the days passed by. Lin Chushi was a little worried about him. But Chen Fei had persuaded him not to be too nervous about it. He said that this was a process everyone had to go through. His words confused Lin Chushi. A process everything would have to experience? Chen Fei, that's right. Most of the time, everyone would go through a brief period of depression. They mostly occur during their second or third door. If they made it through, then they've succeeded. Otherwise, they are gone. Lin Chushi, then why didn't I have one? Chen Fei gave him a glare. Might be because you're slow. Lin Chushi, Chen Fei said. I've only ever met two people who did not react to the doors and accepted them with a perfectly calm attitude. One of them is you. Lin Chushi, the other one is Ruan Nanju? Surprisingly, Chen Fei shook his head. The other one is Cheng Qianli. Lin Chushi, Chen Fei, we discussed a little about it afterwards and decided that it was because of his low IQ. He could not understand what was going on inside the doors. Lin Chushi recalled the expression Cheng Qianli made when he was chasing after Toast's ass. And thought that Chen Fei's conclusion had a point. Even Ruan Nanju was depressed before? This was what Lin Chushi was more interested in. He should be, Chang Fei answered. But I wasn't there during that time, so I wasn't so sure how the entire situation went. A senior mentioned that big brother Ruan was depressed for a while, but he got better afterwards. Lin Chushi. Where is that senior? Chen Fei remained silent for a moment, then he said, dead. He died when he was passing through the 9th door with big brother Ruan. Lin Chushi felt his breath hitched. Chen Fei appeared unwilling to delve more on this topic. He did a flourish to tell Lin Chushi not to overthink it, since they were all only a step away from death. Why not live your life to the fullest and cherish the hour? What he said was true. Lin Chushi sighed in his heart. Truthfully, everyone in his house has an admirably strong sense of mentality. However, even as Lin Chushi rested, Ruan Nanju never stopped his pace. He seemed to have gotten used to entering doors, taking them on twice or thrice in a week. According to what he said, the more one grew familiar with what's inside the doors, the more they would come to realize its rules, such as when the conditions rebounded. Or they would know the answer upon being greeted by certain scenes. Naturally, this could only be achieved if Ruan Nanju has the guts to do so. After all, every entrance into a door was a risk. Even for folks who have been doing this for a long time, they could not guarantee whether they could come out of it safely. On this day, Lin Chushi and Cheng Qianli went shopping for ingredients with the intention to hold a steamboat the very same night. On their way home, Lin Chushi received Wu Qi's call, asking him out to have a meal together. I've already bought the ingredients. Why don't you come over instead? Lin Chushi said, I've prepared some bone broth for a steamboat. Alright. Wu Qi had always liked Lin Chushi's cooking. After all, it's been a long time since had come over and ate his cooking after Lin Chushi moved. I would come over. Is there anything I should be bringing? Lin Chushi. Bring your mouth, it'll do. Wu Qi had answered happily, done. As Lin Chushi returned to the villa, he brought all the ingredients into the kitchen and began heating up the pot. Cheng Qianli and Chen Fei were helping him to arrange the vegetables and the meat. There were only 2 people who knew how to cook. One of them was Lin Chushi, and the other was Lu Yenshui. Lu Yenshui was on a vacation the last few days, and so the responsibility of cooking fell upon Lin Chushi. Thankfully, Lin Chushi didn't hate cooking, so he gladly accepted the task. Once the pot was fully heated up, the doorbell rang. Lin Chushi went over to open the door and saw Wu Qi standing outside with a box of beer in his hand. Hey, I brought you all some beer, said Wu Qi. Good, come on in. Lin Chushi stood aside and allowed Wu Qi to step in. There was an electrical stove on the table with the pot on top of it. Everything was already prepared. Lin Chushi arranged the utensils and said, Is Nanju upstairs? I'll call him down. Should be. Chen Fei said, I didn't see him going out today. Just as Lin Chushi was about to head up to look for Ruan Nanju, he saw a tall beautiful girl strolling down the stairs. This beautiful lady was wearing a thin shade of makeup and wore an ordinary-looking white blouse with black jeans as straight as a pencil. She looked androgynous no matter how one looked at her. Long blue-black streaks that resembled a waterfall were tied into a clear-cut ponytail at the back, leaving a few strands hanging down by her ear. Wu Qi's eyes goggled upon seeing her. He reached out to jab at Lin Chushi's ribs. Chushi, aren't you a little discourteous? Why didn't you tell me there's such a pretty lady here? Lin Chushi. He had an extremely conflicting look on him. This beautiful lady was Ruan Nanju. Maybe it's because had just come out of a door, his makeup was still on his face. The makeup dimmed the sharp features of his face and left behind only a very natural sort of beauty. He was already very eye-catching usually. The version of him now was one that would make anyone find it hard to tear their gazes away. Judging by the way Wu Qi looked, he would have given everything to rush forward to ask for her number. Ruan Nanju too saw Wu Qi. A corner of his eye raised as he pretended not to see him. He immediately headed straight to sit next to Lin Chushi and lazily picked up the bowl and chopsticks in front of him. I didn't add too much spice. If you think it's not enough, you can have some soy sauce. Lin Chushi knew that Ruan Nanju couldn't take too much spice, the sauce. Ruan Nanju nodded his head as he picked up his chopsticks and began eating. A good-looking person would make everything look pleasant. The way Ruan Nanju parted his lips to chew on his food was extremely elegant and divine. Wu Qi's heart squeezed itchily, but decided it was impolite to keep staring at him. And so he behaved like a little kid, stealing little glances from time to time. Lin Chushi was torn between laughing and crying looking at this behavior of his. The wig Ruan Nanju wore outside the door would turn into real hair once had entered the door world. Obviously, he noticed Wu Qi's gaze, so he stopped eating. Lin Chushi's heart skipped a beat upon seeing it. He thought that Ruan Nanju was mad, but who could have guessed? The next thing he did was reaching up to grab his hair and then, with a pull, he revealed the short hair underneath. Fu! Wu Qi almost choked on his own saliva. Ruan Nanju raised a brow. He tossed his wig to the side and continued eating his meal coldly. OMG! OMG! Wu Qi quietly chanted, turning to look at Lin Chushi frustratingly. Chushi, is this fellow a lady or a man? Maybe he was overly excited, that had spilled these right out in front of Ruan Nanju. Lin Chushi gave him a piteous look. A man. Wu Qi, he ran a hand down his face. Lin Chushi, a man taller than you. Tears almost forced themselves out of Wu Qi's eyes. He thought that misgendering wasn't the worst, because the worst is that even as this person took off his wig, he was still better looking than him. Lin Chushi said, don't look anymore. Here, eat a beef ball. He stuffed a beef ball into Wu Qi's bowl as he tried to console his shattering ego. Wu Qi withdrew his gaze and wept in his heart as he chewed on the beef ball. In all that followed afterwards, his spirit seemed to have drifted off to someplace else. Ruan Nanju ate quite happily. After he finished eating, he went upstairs to shed his makeup before coming back down. Upon seeing him in man form, Wu Qi realized this person looked a little familiar. He asked in bewilderment, Chushi, why do I think that he is still quite good looking? Lin Chushi, because he really is good looking. Wu Qi, then do you like him? He had spoken quite aloud because Ruan Nanju, who was sitting on the other side of the sofa, abruptly turned his head around to look at Lin Chushi. Lin Chushi, I do. Could he not like him? The person who dared to talk bad about Ruan Nanju in his face might not have been born yet. Wu Qi, I too like him he. Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju, the jinx of those who valued their exterior looks. On this day, a heavy wound had been inflicted on Wu Qi's dignity. Even as he left with a distant gaze. Lin Chushi had driven him home in person. Upon arriving at his place, Wu Qi smoked for a while next to his car before finally painfully said, Chushi, wouldn't your sexual alignment steer off course for living with such a person over a long period of time? Lin Chushi looked at him dumbfounded. Steer off course? What do you mean by steering off course? Wu Qi, Lin Chushi, what does it mean to steer off course? Wu Qi, it means you'd grow to like men. Lin Chushi, liking men? He thought for a moment before realizing what Wu Qi meant. Why would I? Aren't there beautiful ladies? Wu Qi, there are still beautiful ladies? Why didn't I see them? The house was obviously filled with men. Lin Chushi froze for a moment and realized that something wasn't right. When he spoke of beautiful women, the only person that filled his mind was Zhu Meng's face, but Zhu Meng sighed, leave it be. I am leaving. Take care. Wu Qi waved a hand at Lin Chushi and went upstairs alone. Lin Chushi watched his rear in silence. Upon returning to the villa, Cheng Qianli and Ruan Nanju were munching on sunflower seeds as they played poker on the sofa. Cheng Qianli was holding 2 cards. There was an incredibly painful expression on his face. Lin Chushi leaned in close and realized that this fellow had a pair of 3s on his hands. Lin Chushi. Once again, he doubted Cheng Qianli's IQ. Ruan Nanju dropped the card in his hand with ease and said, he's gone home? Lin Chushi knew he was asking about Wu Qi. Yeah, Ruan Nanju, he has a fragile ego. Lin Chushi was scowled. I guess. Would normal people be as slow as Cheng Qianli? Ruan Nanju, so what were you thinking in your heart when you knew I was Ruan Baiji back then? Lin Chushi recalled for a moment and said, nothing much. He seemed to have very calmly accepted this truth. Not bad. Ruan Nanju clapped the sunflower seed shells on his hands clean. Receiving a compliment so abruptly like that made Lin Chushi froze on the spot for a moment. He felt a little shy and asked a question he'd wanted to ask since a long time ago. Big brother Ruan, Do you really like cross-dressing so much? Ruan Nanju hadn't answered him. He suddenly reached out with a hand and pinched Lin Chushi's chin, then turned Lin Chushi's head around. Your base isn't bad. Lin Chushi? Ah? Ruan Nanju. Well, have you try it next time. He released his grip and stood, revealing a faint smile that spoke volumes. Life is brief. One must seize the opportunity to enjoy life. Lin Chushi. His expression froze. Cheng Qianli, who was sitting at the side, had already given him a very piteous gaze. Ruan Nanju turned around and left. Chen Fei patted Lin Chushi's shoulder and said, What pushed you so hard to ask that question, Lin Chushi? Chen Fei, look what you've done. Lin Chushi was a little afraid. He felt that he seemed to have done something that shouldn't have been done. He looked at Cheng Qianli, but the latter only gave him a painful expression. It's alright, just live through it and you'll be fine. It's what we all do. Lin Chushi, what in the world do all of you mean? But Chen Fei and the others had no intention to explain. They turned and left. Chapter 54, The Sixth Door. After a few months, Lin Chushi was about to face his sixth door. He thought that Cheng Qianli, who was also going through his sixth door, would be going in with them just like last time. Unexpectedly, however, Ruan Nanju had decided to let them go separately this time round. Although the reason for this decision was unclear, Ruan Nanju always has his own reasons for doing things, so Lin Chushi decided not to pry. They were still around a dozen of days away when Cheng Qianli got a hold of his clue ahead of time. According to the usual routine, everyone would help out with researching on the clue. But this time was an exception. Cheng Qianli's clue remained a secret to everyone within the villa except to himself and his brother. Cheng Qianli was pretty happy when he got the clue. When Lin Chushi asked him what exactly he was so happy about, Cheng Qianli answered, He, my brother won't let me tell you. Lin Chushi, although Cheng Qianli was sometimes muddle-headed, he was quite obedient to his brother's orders when it came to important matters. When Cheng Qianli was done giggling, he said to Lin Chushi, I'll tell you on the fly after I come out. Have you gotten yours yet? Lin Chushi shook his head, not yet. For the time being, Ran Nanju hasn't given his hint. He seemed to be pondering over something. You have big brother Ruan to accompany you, so don't worry. Nothing would happen, said Cheng Qianli. Lin Chushi nodded his head. Hopefully everything will go smoothly for the both of us. Cheng Qianli gave a simple-minded smile. Cheers to a smooth journey. A few more days later, Lin Chushi finally received the clue to his door. This time, it was only one word, Slenderman. What is this? Lin Chushi asked. A folklore? It's an foreign urban legend, Ruan Nanju answered. It's also popularly known as Slenderman. Have you ever heard of it? After pondering over it, Lin Chushi nodded his head. I think I have an impression. He remembered watching a movie in this genre. Ruan Nanju tossed him some files. Had a look at these first. Although there isn't much information, it's still better than none. Lu Chushi picked up the file and began to read. The file recorded detailed information about Slenderman. This is an urban legend about a faceless, humanoid monster with long, thin limbs. Its long and thin limbs made it look like a spider with the appearance of a human. These creatures usually roamed in the wilderness or in small towns. They mainly preyed on children who were left out alone. Of course, they could and would lay their hands on adults. The targeted children would inexplicably disappear and the targeted adults would experience ominous indications such as constant nosebleeds, nightmares, and even hallucinations of their worst fears. These information also included a detailed list of the methods and special characteristics of how these Slendermen murdered their victims. For example, they liked to impale their victims on tree branches and let them bleed to death. They also liked to dig out their viscera to place into plastic bags. In short, even outside the world of the doors. Those who were faint of heart would probably be a little afraid even when reading about this urban legend. Lin Chushi finished reading through the information very quickly. Just when he had thought that these were all the needed preparations, he found out that Ruan Nanju wanted to take him out shopping for clothes. Lin Chushi was baffled. Shopping for clothes? What clothes? Ruan Nanju smiled. The clothes you'll wear inside the door. Then, under the pitying gaze of the others in the villa, Lin Chushi with a staggered expression. was led out by Ruan Nanju to the shopping mall. At first, the clothes were regular men's wear. Then, the two arrived at the women's clothing section. Ruan Nanju was evidently familiar with the routine. He said that he was shopping for clothes on behalf of his girlfriend, yet he kept glancing towards Lin Chushi. At first Lin Chushi did not figure it out, and a little dumbly, asked, Nanju, do you have a girlfriend? Ruan Nanju, nope. Lin Chushi, then why are you buying women's clothing? Ruan Nanju, I am not buying, you are. Lin Chushi, but I don't have a girlfriend either. Ruan Nanju, who was holding a few bags in his hands as he walked in the front, turned around upon hearing this. They're going to be worn by you. Why would you want a girlfriend? Lin Chushi's brain shut down for 3 seconds. Finally, he realized what this was all about. There was unparalleled alarm in his eyes. Nanju, for me to wear? Me? Wear? Ruan Nanju confirmed, correct. For you to wear. But I am like this, can I even wear women's clothing? Objected Lin Chushi. Ruan Nanju gave him an expression that spoke volumes. What do you think of your looks? Lin Chushi replied, like a nobody? Ruan Nanju sank into a taciturn silence as he looked at Lin Chushi with increasing disbelief. Lin Chushi felt goosebumps at this gaze of his. He did not dare inquire further and obediently followed Ruan Nanju back to the villa. On the third day, Ruan Nanju dragged out Lin Chushi, who was hiding in his room, and began to change his clothes. As someone who spent most of his time sitting in the office, Lin Chushi did not have a robust physique but only that of an ordinary adult man. His facial features made him look gentle and refined. He had double eyelids, and although his eyes weren't exactly big, they curved beautifully when he smiled. After making him sit properly, Ruan Nanju brought out his equipment and got ready to apply makeup. Lin Chushi was so disturbed that he couldn't tear his eyes away. Nanju, can we discuss this a little? Ruan Nanju scoffed. Discuss what? Lin Chushi quietly said, can we not do this? Ran Nanju expressionless said, didn't you ask me if cross-dressing was fun? No matter how many words I say, it's nothing compared to experiencing it for yourself. His eyes curved into a very unconvincing smile. Don't worry, after we go in, I'll protect you very well. Lin Chushi was a hair's out of reach from crying. He did not know a single thing about the makeup products that were in front of him. He felt Ruan Nanju apply makeup to his face for a long time. So long that when he was just about to fall asleep, Ruan Nanju finally straightened, dusted his hands off and said, done. Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju handed him a mirror. Take a look first. And then choose a hairstyle you like. Lin Chushi took the mirror and at first glance he was a little dazed. In the mirror was the face of a woman. Not one who was drop-jaw stunning but still pretty enough to attract other people's gaze. It was a gentle face, and probably because its owner was feeling a sense of injustice, it made her look the right amount of pitiable that would trigger another's protective instinct. Lin Chushi was not able to hold it in and said, fuck. A girl should nt say profanities. Ruan Nanju lectured, then asked, do you like long hair or short hair? Lin Chushi replied, long hair. His intention was to say that he likes girls with long hair, but who would have guessed that Ruan Nanju would pick up a wig and begin to adjust it on Lin Chushi's head. Lin Chushi. After the wig was secured, Ruan Nanju began the final touches. He probably originally wanted Lin Chushi to wear a skirt, but seeing that Lin Chushi was startled to the edge of fainting, he had decided not to overstimulate him as it was his first time. So instead, he chose an outfit that was on the androgynous side. Forced into the outfit, Lin Chushi simply just wanted to turn and run. He won't ever carelessly let loose his lips again. Once all the preparations were ready, Ran Nanju looked at the person in front of him with a satisfied smile. Lin Chushi's appearance is of the clear, refined type. His face was not made of any harsh lines and was rather gentle. With a face like his, a bit of makeup was enough to hide any obvious discrepancies. Adding in the fact that Lin Chushi's personality was gentle to begin with, this new appearance seemed quite harmonious. Am I going to wear this inside? In the face of this great master, Lin Chushi dared to feel angry but did not dare to voice it. He could only swallow the injustice as he attempted to persuade Ruan Nanju. Nanju, I was wrong, can I? Ran Nanju raised an eyebrow. Number Lin Chushi protested. But I don't know how to pitch my voice. Although the voice Ruan Nanju uses within the doors tends towards androgynous, it definitely won't cause other people to think he's a man. Ruan Nanju replied. Then practice. Lin Chushi. There are only a dozen or so days left before we have to enter. Ruan Nanju gave him a half smile. Take it slowly, there's no rush. There are plenty of opportunities in the future. As for this time, if you can't do it then just pretend you're mute. Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju tapped his finger on the table. A delicate and fragile mute girl, isn't this persona quite interesting? Lin Chushi, Tan Zhao Zhao, come take him into the entertainment industry and the next Oscar will definitely be China's. Although Ruan Nanju said that, he finally, in a fair and considerate of the views of others manner, gave Lin Chushi a plan B. If he didn't want to play mute, he could just say that he's a man whose hobby was dressing in women's clothing. In the end, Lin Chushi decided to suffer in silence for the greater good, and chose to pretend to be mute. He didn't want to experience the odd gaze others would throw at him. And because of this whole dress-up incident, Lin Chushi also had to suffer through the laughter of the others in the villa. Ha 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 ha, Lin Chushi, you're finally getting your share. Cheng Qianli was the one who did not spare him an ounce of dignity. Though, you look really good like this, so much better than Chen Fei. Lin Chushi, huh? Chen Fei's, who was standing off to the side, expression darkened. You have the gall to talk trash about me? Cheng Qianli, go find a mirror and look at yourself. Cheng Qianli, HMPH. Even if I was a girl, I'd be a peerless beauty. Ruan Nanju chuckled, is that so? Cheng Qianli, upon hearing Ruan Nanju's voice, experienced a whole body shiver and said, no, big brother Ruan. I was just joking. Ruan Nanju glanced at him and sat down by the table. How are your preparations with your brother? Cheng Qianli, pretty good. The world this time seems to be quite simple. Ruan Nanju casually replied with an N and did not show further interest. It appears that he was confident in Cheng Yixi. Only that Lin Chushi did not know what exactly that quarrel he had heard between them on the roof was about. Keeping in mind Cheng Yixi's personality, it just doesn't seem like he would easily get into a dispute with other people. However, Lin Chushi knew nothing about all of this because the time to enter the door was quickly approaching. On a certain afternoon in those dozen or so days, while Lin Chushi was snacking with Cheng Qianli in the living room, before Cheng Qianli suddenly disappeared. At first, Lin Chushi thought Cheng Qianli probably went to the bathroom. Only after waiting a bit, not seeing any sign of Cheng Qianli returning, did Lin Chushi realize that Cheng Qianli probably had entered the door. About a half an hour later, Cheng Qianli abruptly appeared on the sofa. His face was deathly pale, hand grasping at his chest as he gasped for breath. Lin Chushi, seeing this, asked, are you alright, Qianli? Cheng Qianli looked at Lin Chushi with a frightened expression, and rushed upstairs without a word. Lin Chushi, seeing his frenetic state, hurried after him. Cheng Qianli beelined for Cheng Yixi's bedroom, skipped knocking, and yanked the door open. The opened door revealed Cheng Yixi, who was sitting on the bed. He also seemed to have just gotten back, and he was just as expressionless as before. He looked up at the panicking Cheng Qianli. What? Brother Cheng Qianli threw himself at his brother, grabbing tightly at Cheng Yixi. I thought you wouldn't be able to come out. Thought you wouldn't be able to come out. Cheng Yixi said nothing and lightly patted Cheng Qianli's back to placate him. Cheng Qianli seemed to have experienced quite a scare, his face pastel-y white. His complexion seemed even worse than Cheng Yixi. The two brothers hugged for a while, and when the mood stabilized, Cheng Qianli seemed a little embarrassed, and sheepishly crawled out of Cheng Yixi's embrace. He rubbed at his nose and said, I am hungry. I am going first to eat something. Cheng Yixi did not stop him and watched him leave. Seeing that nothing major was wrong, Lin Chushi also decided to take his leave. Unexpectedly, Cheng Yixi's voice came from behind him. He said, Lin Chushi, if one day, something happens to me, would you help Cheng Qianli? Lin Chushi was taken aback. Never mind, it's nothing, Cheng Yixi said. You can go. After saying that, he closed the door, not giving Lin Chushi an opportunity to respond. Truthfully speaking, Cheng Yixi behaved nothing like a youth of 16 years old. He was cold and steady, appearing to resemble Ruan Nanju instead. Perhaps the dangers had experienced in the sixth door this time had made him say something like that. Having returned to the living room, Chang Qianli once again began to eat his snacks. But this time he ate soullessly with fatigue written all over his face. Lin Chushi asked him a few questions and learned that the world within the door this time was an ancient battlefield and that they had experienced many dangers. Fortunately, they were able to safely escape. My brother and I suffer from a hereditary disease, Chang Qianli ate as he started talking about things he hadn't told Lin Chushi before. We couldn't exercise. And when it was really bad, we couldn't even walk. The doctors said that we wouldn't be able to live past 18. Lin Chushi listened as he spoke. Then my brother entered the door, Chang Qianli said. And his symptoms began to improve and then I entered as well. Scratching at his head, Chang Qianli smiled. Sometimes I think that actually the doors aren't so scary. If it weren't for the doors, I wouldn't have been able to live like a normal person and live until now. I've already had more than what I was given. Don't think that way, the days are still long. Lin Chushi consoled him. Right. The days are still long. Chang Qianli's gaze became a little vacant. And I don't know how my life will end. As Lin Chushi listened, he felt a little sad. Only at times like these, he would become aware of the fact that everybody in this villa are people on the brink of death. Some are mentally prepared, some are not, but without exception, they've all smelled the scent of death. May your next door go smoothly. Chang Qianli suddenly stood up. I am going to get some rest, I am so tired. Lin Chushi nodded and watched as he headed towards the stairs, yawning. It was probably due to not having strong desires in his heart. Lin Chushi was rather calm when he entered the doors. He could accept death but was also willing to embrace a new life. The time between Lin Chushi's door and that of Chang Qianli wasn't very far apart, so later that night, Lin Chushi woke up with a start. When he opened the door of his bedroom, he saw the 12 iron doors appearing in the corridor. The first 5 iron doors were sealed up and the last 6 doors could not be opened. Only the iron door positioned at the 6th place could be easily opened by Lin Chushi. After that familiar dizzying sensation, Lin Chushi appeared on an asphalt road. There was nothing around the road other than a black sign that pointed ahead. On it were 2 words, Waterway Town. It was kind of cold. Lin Chushi wrapped his clothes tighter around himself and began to walk forward slowly. The road was very wide and it was shrouded by a dense fog. After walking for 6 or 7 minutes, a figure aside from himself finally appeared in the distance. The figure looked familiar and when he saw it, Lin Chushi's eyes lit up and he shouted, Meng Meng. The person ahead turned his head towards him. It was an unfamiliar face but the temperament was familiar. Have a candy? He said. Lin Chushi said, yes, yes, yes. I like to eat mint-flavored strawberry candy, he answered. I don't like to eat candy because my 4th tooth hurts. Having finished exchanging passwords and confirmed the identity of the person in front of him, Lin Chushi let out a breath and said, I didn't think that we would meet ahead of time. Wait, why are you dressed as a man? His eyes widened. Ruan Nanju answered, did I say ill dress as a girl with you? Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju motioned for him to be quiet and smiled. Mute people can't say this many words. Lin Chushi was torn between laughing and crying, can I nope? Ruan Nanju knew what Lin Chushi wanted to ask him and ruthlessly refused him. Just do your part as a girl, alright? Lin Chushi, he pulled at his wig and discovered that it had become his own hair. And for some reason, he realized that he was also shorter than he originally was outside of the door. Let's go. We'll talk more after we find the others. Ruan Nanju looked around. This fog really makes a person feel unwell. Thus the two proceeded forwards. Lin Chushi, walking behind Ruan Nanju, stealthily pulled open his trousers and took a look. When he saw that a certain bodily organ was still healthily present, he released a deep breath. Fortunately, only his hair changed and nothing else. Otherwise he really wouldn't even have the tears to cry. The two continued walking and eventually saw another landscape within the fog. A decrepit little town had appeared in front of them. Although it was a wholly Western-styled town, most of the signboards were in Chinese. Lin Chushi was suddenly a little curious. Have you guys ever encountered a world set outside of China? Ruan Nanju answered, we have, isn't the one right in front of our eyes one? Lin Chushi replied, but the signboards are in Chinese. Ruan Nanju said, it probably takes our cultural levels into consideration, so it refrained from using English. He looked at Lin Chushi. After all, some people aren't literate even in Chinese. Lin Chushi knew that Ruan Nanju was making fun of him for pretending to be illiterate in the last door and awkwardly said, back then. The circumstances were special. They walked into the town and saw a group of people gathered in the town's small plaza. After a single sweep of his gaze, Ruan Nanju had counted the number of the people gathered, 8. Lin Chushi had already begun his act and did not make a sound. The two of them walked out from the fog, attracting some looks. Some looked at the handsome Ruan Nanju while others looked at Lin Chushi. At that moment, Lin Chushi, long-haired, and because he had become shorter, his clothes were a little big on him. His complexion was rather pale and seemed quite afraid. A pair of black pupils looked helplessly at Ruan Nanju. This is what the outsiders saw, but actually Lin Chushi. Fuck, oh fuck, they're all staring at me. Ran Nanju. Let them look, it's not like you're missing a limb. Lin Chushi. What if they figure out that I am a man? Ruan Nanju. Then take out your big guy and scare them to death. Lin Chushi. The above conversation happened as they exchanged their glances. Lin Chushi expressed that he had nothing left to say. Somebody approached them, probably because Ruan Nanju didn't seem like someone easy to get along with. That person set the seemingly pitiful, weak, small, and helpless Lin Chushi as his target. Before Lin Chushi could react, Ruan Nanju reached out an arm to block that person's path. Something the matter? Nothing. The person who had approached them was a handsome-looking man appearing to be in his 20s, dressed accordingly with the latest fashion trend. He seemed to be very interested in Lin Chushi. Just wanted to ask if you two needed any help. He don't seem to be able to speak. Ruan Nanju stared at him, standing in front of Lin Chushi, in the way of the man in front of him. Can't speak? The man seemed to find that interesting and said, nice to meet you, my name is Wang Tianxin. Ruan Nanju introduced himself, Lu Meng. Wang Tianxin smiled at the protective air around Ruan Nanju. Do you two know each other? Ruan Nanju replied, we don't, but we met as soon as we entered through the door. Must be that we have some predestined affinity. Lin Chushi fished out his phone and typed something out. My name is Yu Chochu, very happy to meet both of you. Both of them saw what Lin Chushi had typed. Wang Tianxin said, oh. So you're called Yu Chochu. It's a very cute name. He was a little shorter than Ruan Nanju. He bent down slightly and made a gentle expression. My name is Wang Tianxin, and if it's alright, I'd like to become friends with you. Lin Chushi pretended to be a little frightened and retreated behind into the safety of Ruan Nanju's back. One who is unaccountably solicitous hides evil intentions. Wang Tianxin obviously had a conspiracy brewing, judging by the fact that he had so abruptly behaved fervently towards a person he just met. Although he wasn't afraid of him, Lin Chushi wasn't so dumb as to deliver himself on a silver platter. Ruan Nanju very bluntly said, he seems to be afraid of you. You should distance yourself from him. Wang Tianxin spared Ruan Nanju a glare and left. Lin Chushi didn't expect him to give up so easily. Ruan Nanju laughed coldly, as if had already guessed what Wang Tianxin was after. One by one, people arrived and the group of people filled out. As always, there were two new people, both men. One of them was relatively calm while the other one right away broke down, sobbing the entire way. Fortunately, other than crying, this new person did not do anything out of line. After giving up on Lin Chushi, Wang Tianxin soon found another girl. In a short period of time, that girl and Wang Tianxin became well acquainted with each other and were chatting and laughing. Lin Chushi glanced at Ruan Nanju. Ruan Nanju knew what he wanted to ask and answered him softly. Within the doors, there's a type of people who always like to find a partner to team up with. Of course, this team member isn't just someone to work with, perhaps they're also used to do something else. Lin Chushi, such as? Ruan Nanju looked at him, smiling profoundly, but he did not elaborate further. Ruan Nanju's smile caused Lin Chushi to shudder. Wang Tianxin was clearly experienced in such matters and his target was very precise. Away from the others, he would find the most delicate-seeming girls, ask about their well-being and pamper them, and thus easily gaining their trust. And Lin Chushi, as a mute girl who was not fully bodily able, was evidently his favored type of target. It's just that his plans were ruined by Ruan Nanju and he was forced to change targets. You'd be careful to stick close to me and not let yourself be tricked away. Lin Chushi glared at him, thinking that even if he was tricked it'd be alright. If worst comes to worst, he'd just remove his skirt and play let's see who's bigger. Chapter 55. The missing children. All 14 people who entered this door gathered in the plaza of the small town. Seizing the opportunity, Lin Chushi had been observing the surroundings the entire time. This small town seemed to be rather run down. A good half of the shops along the street were closed. During the few times a breeze swept past, it'd lift the dust off the sides of the street, making the small town seem even more desolated. They were near a notice board at the side of the plaza. Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju, having walked over to take a look, discovered that missing posters of children around 7 to 8 years old were tacked on it. They were both males and females. And these posters have only just been put up recently. Having seen these posters, Lin Chushi straightaway thought of the Slenderman mentioned in the hint. Although the Slenderman also targeted adults, its primary target was usually children. It seems that the disappearance of these children were more or less caused by the Slenderman. As the group of people were discussing spiritedly, an imposing middle-aged man approached them from the end of the plaza. He gave a simple self-introduction to the group of people, claiming to be the mayor of the town. He then gave them the identity they were assigned within this door. I hope that you are able to help us find the missing children, the mayor said. These children all disappeared within the span of a week. We've searched everywhere within the town, but we couldn't find them. I hope that you all are able to complete this task that we entrust to you and find the missing children. This was the clue the door gave. After the mayor finished speaking, he brought them to the inn they were to be lodged at. The appearance of the inn and the small town matched well. They were both very dilapidated. At the front of the inn sat an old man who was dozing off. At the sight of the mayor bringing people over, he didn't even open his eyes to greet them but casually took out a bundle of keys on a ring and then closed his eyes to go back to sleep. The mayor was clearly accustomed to this and said, "We rarely receive visitors, and because we've lost some children, people have become quite wary and self-conscious. Please be considerate when you are inquiring for information." The inn only had 2-person rooms and the group quickly found a person to share a room with. Without mishap, Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju ended up in the same room. Because he was playing the role of a mute girl, he was silent the entire time. When somebody looked at him, he pretended not to notice. That Wang Tianxin seemed to still be interested in him. But he hid it well. Only, Lin Chushi would occasionally feel his gaze on him. Lin Chushi acted as though he did not notice. Once the matter of rooming was sorted, the mayor told them some facts about the small town. This town was once a fishing village. After a dam was built, the fish population decreased and the economy began to deteriorate. There weren't any other industries in the small town other than a fish cannery at the very west of the town. At the east end was the town cemetery, and the mayor told them to avoid going there if they could help it. The group quietly listened, some of them even took notes. The key NPCs usually supply the most important information, and it would be these information that lead to the key. After they'd dallied for some time, everyone was a little hungry. And so, they went downstairs to eat something light. The food here tasted terrible. The bread was so hard and dry that it pained their teeth to chew. Other than the bread, there was only another sautéed fish that looked unappetizing. Lin Chushi didn't dare eat after a single look at the wide-eyed corpse of the fish. Would he get some sort of food poisoning if he ate it? Ruan Nanju didn't touch the fish either and only ate some bread. He hadn't spoken much after arriving at the inn, appearing to be thinking about something. After they finished this terrible meal, the group decided to get some rest so that they could better welcome the coming of the second day. Lin Chushi also decided to rest, and after washing, he climbed into bed. It was a standard inn room with 2 beds. His was closer to the window while Ruan Nanju's was closer to the door. After taking a shower, Ruan Nanju walked out shirtless. As he dried his hair with a towel, he asked, "What do you think?" Lin Chushi was curled up at the headboard, messing around on his phone. Let's go talk to the parents of the missing children tomorrow and see what information we can find, he said, and after contemplating for a bit, he added, since the mayor mentioned the cannery, maybe we should do some investigating there as well. The town wasn't very big and there were only so many clues. Logically, there should be information they wanted at the cannery. Ruan Nanju, N. How do you feel? Lin Chushi thought that he was asking about his feelings about this door and thus obediently answered, it's okay. It's just that the food here really is unpleasant. Ran Nanju raised an eyebrow, I am asking about how you feel about acting as a mute girl. Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju, doesn't it make you happy? In the face of Ruan Nanju's menace, Lin Chushi turned as timid as a puppy and gave a very fake laugh, it does, it does. Oh, why did he never think twice before speaking back then? One was forced to admit that Lin Chushi's current expression in his female form was incredibly cute. It doesn't matter whether Lin Chushi was willing or not, his answer made Ruan Nanju feel satisfied. He had even given him a light laugh, as long as you like it. Lin Chushi. Why did he feel a sense of foreboding? After they talked for a while, the two went to sleep on their respective beds. The blinds that covered the window next to Lin Chushi's bed allowed him to see the shadows of what was vaguely outside. When there was a slight breeze, the trees would rustle. And although this hotel looks dilapidated, the condition inside wasn't bad. Its one flaw was that there were still mosquitoes in such cold weather. Their buzzing caused quite a disturbance. Lin Chushi lay on the bed, trying to empty his mind as much as possible so that he could quickly slip into slumber. Yet when he was just about to fall asleep, he felt Ruan Nanju gently poke his back. He wanted to turn his head around but was stopped by Ruan Nanju's hushed tone, don't move. There's something outside. Lin Chushi jolted and was immediately wide awake. As he carefully looked over, something very hard to describe had attached itself onto the tree branch. That creature seemed to have merged with the tree branches in a twisted manner. It was thin and slender like a snake. It was easily missable if one hadn't looked clearly. Lin Chushi watched as that creature slowly reached out its hand and placed it on the surface of the window. It flipped open a blind. Lin Chushi had expected to see a pair of black pupils but instead saw a ghastly white face with nothing on it. That creature did not have eyes at all. Close your eyes, Ruan Nanju suddenly said. Lin Chushi immediately shut his eyes. His sense of hearing was incredible. He could hear clearly the blinds of the window being flipped open. Soon after was a rustling sound, as if something was walking upon the grass. Ruan Nanju never told him to open his eyes. At first, Lin Chushi was able to restrain himself, but after his patience ran out, he asked, is it over? Silence. Lin Chushi felt his heart tighten. Worried that something had happened, he turned around and opened his eyes and found Ruan Nanju behind him, already fast asleep. Lin Chushi. It seemed like this sleeping pill spirit is not only able to induce sleep on others, but on himself as well. Outside the window, the night returned to tranquility, and closing his eyes, Lin Chushi fell asleep. It was dark and raining on the second day. The temperature was a little cold and pitter-patter came from the rain. Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju woke up early the next day. Together, they went down to the dining hall. Lin Chushi could hear, from the moment they entered, the sound of flirting coming from Wang Tianxin and that girl. Both of them appeared to have gotten closer after a single night. The girl who was beguiled by Wang Tianxin was smiling brightly as they fed each other breakfast. Lin Chushi took a look at Wang Tianxin. Really, how admirable these people are. In a world such as one within the doors, they could still find it in themselves to indulge in such pleasures. From a certain aspect, they were truly elites. Ruan Nanju followed after him into the dining hall. Once the both of them entered, they attracted the gazes of almost everyone within the hall. Some of them were looking at Ruan Nanju, who often had a striking appearance, but some of them had looked at Lin Chushi sensually. At first, Lin Chushi found it baffling. It was only until, halfway through breakfast, when he went to the bathroom and glanced at the mirror did he realize that there was something off. He stretched out his neck to take a look at his reflection carefully only to discover that a red mark of unknown origin had appeared under his earlobe. That mark itched, probably left behind after a mosquito bit him. But although Lin Chushi knew it was a bug bite, other people did not. Not to mention, its placement was ever so ambiguously intimate. Lin Chushi was torn between crying out loud and laughing. He scratched at it with his fingers, only to cause it to become even more itchy. This mark won't vanish anytime soon. Lin Chushi took a deep breath and sighed. He could only give up. After washing his hands, he turned to leave, only to run into Wang Tianxin walking into the bathroom from the outside. This inn was very small. There was only a single bathroom on the first floor and it was unisex. Having encountered each other in the narrow bathroom, Lin Chushi twisted out of the way and indicated for Wang Tianxin to go first. Wang Tianxin smiled at him and suddenly spoke, "Why are you so scared of me?" Lin Chushi, having heard his words, looked at him in surprise. Clearly, what he and I are doing are the same, so there isn't a need for you to make me into a bad person. Truth be told, Wang Tianxin's voice was quite pleasant and he had a pair of pretty peach blossom eyes. Even outside of the door, he was the type well liked by girls. He reached out and grabbed Lin Chushi by the arm. Am I right? Lin Chushi knew that Wang Tianxin had misunderstood. He wanted to free his arm from Wang Tianxin's grip, but he was afraid that using his full strength would expose his true identity. He could only grab his phone with his other hand and type out, "We aren't like that, you've misunderstood." Who could have guessed that upon seeing those words, Wang Tianxin had laughed coldly and say, "Are you taking me for a fool? Don't tell me that the mark on your neck is a mosquito bite?" Lin Chushi, it really fucking is. Wang Tianxin glanced outside and suddenly broke out a sinister grin. Say, if I were to do you right here and now, would he find out? Lin Chushi, he silently looked at Wang Tianxin's not exactly robust physique and thought to himself, my friend, don't be so sure you'd be the one doing me. What Wang Tianxin mistook Lin Chushi's expression for is unknown. He grinned and said, what? Now you know to be afraid? Lin Chushi looked around the bathroom frantically, already contemplating over what kind of ass-kicking he should give this guy that would best relieve his annoyance. But just when Lin Chushi was about to act, another person's footsteps suddenly echoed in from outside. Even then Wang Tianxin would not let Lin Chushi go. Only when Ruan Nanju appeared at the doorway, fixing him with a vicious gaze, did he unwillingly let go, a fake smile playing on his lips. Chochu, Ruan Nanju's voice was cold. Is someone making things difficult for you? Lin Chushi looked at Ruan Nanju. Right when their eyes met, Lin Chushi suddenly understood. Lin Chushi's mythical inner drama queen took over his body. Sniffling back tears, he threw himself into Ruan Nanju's arms, with an air of oh look how wretchedly I was bullied. Ruan Nanju looked up and turned his gaze towards Wang Tianxin. Probably because Ruan Nanju's expression was truly terrifying, Wang Tianxin, who had been arrogant up until now, withered with an awkward smile, a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. I didn't do anything to Chochu. Ruan Nanju barked, this is the last time. His voice was as cold as ice. If I find out that you've attempted to do something to her, I'll end you. The words I'll end you did not seem like simple tough talk. Even Lin Chushi, who was leaning into Ruan Nanju's embrace, detected a deadly intent concentrated behind those words. Ruan Nanju meant it. Lin Chushi knew, and so did Wang Tianxin. As a result, Wang Tianxin hastily made a sound of agreement, turned around and fled, even abandoning his original goal of using the bathroom. Lin Chushi watched his hurriedly retreating figure and he wanted to spit at him. Are you alright? Asked Ruan Nanju. Lin Chushi nodded and then pointed to the mosquito bite under his ear. Who would have anticipated that in the next moment, something warm and soft pressed onto that spot and sucked at it momentarily. Lin Chushi's eyes widened and reflexively went to push away the person in front of him. Yet, Ruan Nanju chirped a faint laugh and said, Little Miss Mute, you really believed that I was a good person? Lin Chushi, great master, do you really get that much joy out of performing? I am not a good person. Ruan Nanju's finger rubbed at that spot, drawing out an involuntary shiver from Lin Chushi. Lin Chushi opened his mouth, wanting to speak. Ruan Nanju motioned for him to be quiet, warning him they were being listened. As long as you're obedient and do as I say, it'll help you get out alive. Said Ruan Nanju, if you're disobedient, don't blame me if I decide to leave you behind, stuck inside all by yourself. Lin Chushi, that would have been enough. Ruan Nanju added, "Do you understand?" Lin Chushi could only nod. Ruan Nanju made a satisfied expression and led Lin Chushi out by his hand. At this moment, Lin Chushi finally figured out the evil truth behind why Ruan Nanju had him play the role of a mute girl. If not for the fact that he had to stay in character, Lin Chushi would at least be able to retort and poke a hole in Ruan Nanju's sudden desire to perform. But as a person who cannot speak, by the time Lin Chushi typed a quip back on his phone, Ruan Nanju was done with his performance. Lin Chushi finished his cup of milk and sighed internally. How evil is the human heart. The way other people looked at Ruan Nanju and Lin Chushi became even more sensual. He reckoned that they also saw them as a pair who had hooked up. Lin Chushi truly had no choice but to suffer in silence. He could only shoot glares at Ruan Nanju from time to time. Ruan Nanju shamelessly said, "Stop staring. Any more and it'll be hard." Lin Chushi. What the fuck do you mean with going hard? Finally finishing breakfast, Lin Chushi hurriedly dragged Ruan Nanju out from the dining hall. The plan they made yesterday was to go take a look at the homes of the missing children. There were very few inhabitants in this town. Allegedly, there were only about 8 or 9 children living in the town in total. Having 3 go missing was naturally a big deal. Ruan Nanju and Lin Chushi arrived quickly at where the first child who had disappeared lived. Along with them were some experienced people from the group. The family of the child put up a cold attitude when they saw them. They only talked when prompted and from start to finish, did not give up any information of their volition. Fortunately, they were still willing to answer questions. Ruan Nanju asked some crucial questions. When did the child disappear? Where did he disappear? Who was the last person that saw him? Were there signs foreshadowing his disappearance? His temperament was always odd. As a parent, the disappearance of their child should be something that made them sad. Yet the attitude of this family member contradicted it. It was as if they were unwilling to say more than necessary, had always be out and about, unwilling to come home. He disappeared in the evening 6 days ago. After he left the house that day, he never came back at any point. Before he went missing, he met with his older sister. As for signs, if there were signs, how would he go missing? Everyone noted down the information given. The child's sister happened to be standing by the side, so Ruan Nanju approached her and asked her a few questions. Probably because he was handsome, he easily got the attention of the young woman and she interacted with them with a pretty good attitude. She seemed to be around 17 or 18 and she looked quite plain with freckles on her face. Her beautiful golden hair was particularly eye-catching. She said, "Before my little brother Lauren disappeared, he said that he was being followed. But this town is a small town and we had no visitors. Who would follow a kid around?" At that time I didn't take his words to heart. She seemed a little guilty and her eyes grew damp with tears. "Do you mind if we take a look inside his room?" Ruan Nanju asked. The sister replied, "Go ahead, we'll take you there." The missing child's name was Lauren and his room was in the attic. It was a very small and very messy room. A small bed was crammed into this small space, along with various books and other random things. As the attic was truly too small, they couldn't all go in at once. They split off into smaller groups and took turns investigating. Ruan Nanju, Lin Chushi, and another woman were the first group to enter. Ruan Nanju walked straight to the bookshelf, while Lin Chushi began inspecting Lauren's bed. Soon, Lin Chushi made a discovery. He found a diary hidden under Lauren's pillow. He swiftly reacted and stuffed the diary into his clothes in the blink of an eye and nonchalantly continued his search. It was at this time that Lin Chushi realized the benefits of women's clothing. Men's clothing were mostly rather simple and it would be difficult to hide something on their body. Ruan Nanju found a large number of Lauren's notes. Before he had disappeared, Lauren was doing research on the urban legends of the area. These legends were very abundant and among them was the Slenderman the hint had contained. "It seems that he knew something was off beforehand," Ruan Nanju said. "Within this door, there are signs that foretell death." Lin Chushi nodded and signaled that he understood. He then pointed at the entrance. Ruan Nanju looked at him and understood what he wanted to convey. Let's go out then. Claiming that they wanted to take a breather, the two of them exited the house. After they found a place where no one else was around, Lin Chushi dug out Lauren's diary from the confines of his clothes. Ruan Nanju grinned as he watched. You seem well practiced. Lin Chushi had been holding back for so long. He felt that he was about to die. Stop messing around, quickly let's see what's written inside. Ruan Nanju nodded. He unlocked the lock on the diary with ease and saw the contents of the diary. Recorded in the diary was the everyday activities of the child, complaints about his parents, complaints about his school, and such. Wait, there's a school? Lin Chushi asked. This town has a school? Ruan Nanju, probably, though it's most likely in a neighboring town. Lin Chushi, oh, the mayor didn't mention it. Ruan Nanju, so it turns out this kid was not their biological child. No wonder his parents were indifferent. Lauren wasn't related to his father by blood, he was the child of his mother's previous marriage. His stepfather never really liked him and often made trouble for him, going so far to even beat him. His stepfather seemed indifferent towards Lauren's disappearance, as he did not care at all about the disappearance of this child. What about Lauren's mother? Lin Chushi asked, puzzled. Doesn't seem to have mentioned her, Ruan Nanju answered. Now that's very strange. It was indeed very strange. When they were in the house, they did not see the mistress of the house, nor did anyone bring up the fact that this house once had a mistress. As Lin Chushi flipped through the diary, he found some information about the child's disappearance. In the diary, Lauren regularly complained about being constantly followed by somebody on his way to and back from school, but he could never figure out who it was. At first, his tone was indignant and rather fed up, but soon, these attitudes dissolved into fear. Lauren seemed to have discovered something. It appeared outside my window again. I am hiding under the bed. Hopefully it won't find me. This time I am hiding in the closet. Thank God I didn't hide under the bed. I saw him bend down and reach under the bed, as if looking for me. Nobody believes me. They all think I am crazy. That creature squeezed in through the cracks of my window. I don't know what it is. I know its name now, but there isn't enough time. It's too late, everything is over. These were the most recent entries in Lauren's diary. Just a few days ago, he wrote down the final 3 words, everything is over. That was the last entry. Lauren disappeared soon after and thus the diary was not written in again. That creature appears to have taken the child away, Lin Chushi said as he finished reading through the diary. The Slenderman Ruan Nanju, where could it have taken the child? Their gazes met and Lin Chushi smiled awkwardly. He couldn't have been taken to the cannery, right? The only place that stood out in this town was that cannery. Ruan Nanju, where should we go next? Ruan Nanju, did you eat canned fish this morning? Lin Chushi immediately shook his head. The canned fish never seemed appetizing, and Lin Chushi didn't like eating heavy flavors for breakfast, so he was even less interested in it. Although he did not touch the fish, other people ate a lot. Especially Wang Tianxin, he seemed to be particularly fond of fish. Lin Chushi, can't think about it in detail, it's too disgusting. Ruan Nanju, where do you want to go next? Lin Chushi, there are still a few other missing children, let's go see their family. It'd be good if we can find something that they have in common. Ruan Nanju nodded, agreeing with Lin Chushi's suggestion. Thus the two of them headed towards the homes of the other 2 missing children. On the way, they began to discuss other details pertaining to the small town. Of course, in order to maintain the persona of a mute girl, Lin Chushi did not dare to speak too much. Pretty much from beginning to end. He was using the text-to-speech function on his phone to talk with Ruan Nanju. Ruan Nanju took in the sight of Lin Chushi looking down to type, and beamed, Chochu, you're very cute. Lin Chushi, where am I cute? Ruan Nanju, all of you are cute. I want to pick you up and lock you up so only I could look at you. Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju, do you know how much you resemble a pervert right now? Ruan Nanju, haha, I was just joking. Lin Chushi, truth be told, with every time Ruan Nanju said these words, Lin Chushi had the impression that he was being serious. Chapter 56, The Cannery next. They visited the homes of the 2 other missing children. After a series of inquiries, they discovered that what all the victims shared was that they were all being followed shortly before their disappearance. Their parents, however, never took their words too seriously. The mother of one of the missing children sobbed, "Oh, how I've regretted it. If only I had believed her, then she wouldn't have been abducted. The blame is all on me. It's all my fault, I was a terrible mother." After gently consoling her, Ruan Nanju asked, "If I may, do you have any information on her disappearance? If you do, please tell us. Maybe it'll help us bring her back to you sooner." Having heard this, the mother was silent for a moment before softly saying, "Information I've heard before that at the outskirts of this town. There is a hidden monster, of course this is just a rumor and nobody has actually seen it." Ruan Nanju's interest perked. "Monster? What kind of monster?" "I don't know," the mother replied. "We don't know what it looks like, but rumor has it that the creature is very, very tall." This was all the information the mother had. But through Ruan Nanju's questioning, they found out that this family's child likes to play near the fish cannery, and despite attempts to persuade her otherwise, she still often snuck over to play. This child was most likely last seen in the cannery. The cannery seemed to be a very important location. Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju decided unanimously to check out the cannery after lunch. As with the other meals, there was something afoot about the flavor of their lunch. Several dishes had contained fish and reeked of an unpleasant, fishy odor. In the middle of the table were a few opened cans of fish. They seemed like a delicacy compared to the rest. Due to this, quite a few people picked at them with their chopsticks and marveled that they tasted pretty delicious. Due to the information they had gathered in the morning, Lin Chushi really did not have any interest in the canned fish. He randomly ate some things and then took out his phone in order to sort out his thoughts. Ironically, his identity as a mute girl in this world helped, as nobody came over to chat with him. Everyone basically treated him as invisible as thin air. Lin Chushi enjoyed this quiet idleness. As it was the second day after entering the door, there were still people attempting to form partnerships with Ruan Nanju. Their words were filled with contempt directed towards Lin Chushi. Some people had been more tactful, while others were blunt, saying that she can't speak, so even if she runs into something, she wouldn't even be able to cry out. He was wasting his time with her, so why not partner with someone else? Listening to all of this, Lin Chushi was close to standing up and unleashing a string of insults at them. He only managed to hold himself back with Herculean effort. Recalling Ruan Nanju's love of performance, Lin Chushi put on a pitiable expression. As if Lin Chushi's weak and delicate appearance had moved him, Ruan Nanju declined their requests. Ruan Nanju seemed to have also found their insistent requests a nuisance and pulled Lin Chushi out of the dining hall immediately after. "Why do they all seem so eager to recruit you? Because you're good-looking?" Lin Chushi was a little curious and asked as they headed towards the cannery. "It's human nature to seek out what benefits them and avoid what may harm them," Ruan Nanju said. "In a place where they can lose their life if they're not careful, if they meet someone stronger than themselves, they'll try and find a way to stick close to them." When they were at a certain distance away from the cannery, they began to smell a pungent, fishy odor. This odor made one feel unpleasant. If someone who didn't like eating fish were here, the odor would have been enough to make them want to puke. The cannery was at the very outskirts of the town. There weren't any signs of inhabitation nearby, and there weren't any buildings by the road. The trees were sparse, but there was an abundance of shrubbery. Behind the trees was a heavy fog, marking the boundaries of this world. According to the mayor, production stopped and this cannery closed down a few years ago. Now, it stood in silence. Ruan Nanju took out his tools and unlocked the rusted iron gate at the entrance with ease. The two of them went in. This cannery is actually quite big. Lin Chushi looked around. The first thing he saw was a large courtyard. Around its edges were meter-tall weeds. It was obvious that it had been a long time since anyone had come in here. In the courtyard stood a few withered trees. On their branches sat black feathered birds. At first glance, these birds looked like crows, but after careful observation, they seemed much bigger than crows. Hummed Ruan Nanju as he walked in front of him. Could it be that this was where the children disappeared? Or rather, they were brought here after they disappeared? Lin Chushi asked. Ruan Nanju, I don't know. Let's take a look around to see if there is anything that we could find. Lin Chushi nodded. The two of them continued forwards. Just before they entered the production area, Lin Chushi had a sudden discovery. He had discovered it by chance. Lin Chushi had tripped over a rock, and as he stumbled forwards, he had reflexively looked down at the rock which tripped him and saw something else as well. "What's this?" Lin Chushi called out. He bent down to examine the dirt. "A fingerprint?" Ruan Nanju heard his voice and glanced at where Lin Chushi was looking. Indented on the soil was a mass of handprints. At first glance, these handprints seemed to be randomly imprinted themselves in the earth. But after detailed examination, they seemed like someone's cry for help. Someone had been dragged across the dirt, and as they were being dragged, they had attempted to grab onto things. Their desperate attempts to claw at the earth beneath them were the cause of these markings. Lin Chushi carefully followed the trail of handprints. Ruan Nanju followed behind him, keeping an eye on their surroundings. Soon, Lin Chushi arrived at the end of the trail, a giant, withered tree. Its diameter was at least 2 meters wide, and it seemed to have died long ago. Lin Chushi knocked on the trunk and frowned. "It's hollow. Could there be something hidden inside?" Ruan Nanju examined the tree and commented, "It's possible." After all, this was where the handprints had led them to. Ruan Nanju took out a small knife from his pocket and slowly worked it into the tree. The tree was rotting, so the sharp knife easily bore into it. When Ruan Nanju pulled the knife out, Lin Chushi inhaled sharply. The edge of Ruan Nanju's blade was stained with crimson-red blood. "Fuck." Lin Chushi wasn't able to hold back from swearing. His expression twisted into an awkward look and said, "You didn't just kill our clue, right?" After a moment of silence, Ruan Nanju calmly replied, "I didn't do it on purpose." Lin Chushi, Ruan Nanju. If the knife stabbed a normal person, they would have screeched. Moreover, there aren't any openings on this tree, so how would a normal person be able to get in it? That was indeed true. Lin Chushi wet his lips. "Then let's chisel it open and see." Ruan Nanju nodded. This time he didn't sink the knife in too deep and started cutting a larger hole into the trunk. Soon, he created an opening, revealing what was inside. Lin Chushi subconsciously took a step back as he realized what was in the tree. His expression was somewhat distressed. Within the tree trunk was a small child. This child appeared to have been into the ancient tree. Almost his entire body was embedded into the tree trunk. But what was most startling was the large gash on his abdomen. Although there wasn't any blood, Lin Chushi knew that this child was no longer alive. Ruan Nanju's head tilted. There seems to be a plastic bag behind him. Those who did not know the hint would not have known, but Lin Chushi had read that file of research before entering the door. Thus he knew instantly the connotations of the plastic bag. The child's organs had been removed and placed into the plastic bag. This was something the Slenderman liked to do. Lin Chushi sighed. "I don't think this bodes well for the other kids." Ruan Nanju replied, "Probably. He was used to seeing death." With an indifferent expression, Ruan Nanju examined the corpse in the tree. Looking for more clues, Lin Chushi looked around. He had a feeling that the other 2 missing children were also here in the cannery. What he didn't know was where exactly they were hidden. As Lin Chushi pondered over this thought, Ruan Nanju suddenly took a few steps back, quick and curt, as if he had seen something strange. "What's wrong?" Lin Chushi asked, startled. Ruan Nanju was silent. He pointed at the corpse in front of him. Lin Chushi looked towards it and proceeded to react the same way Ruan Nanju had at some point. The child's eyes opened and was staring at them with the cold detachment of the dead. Lin Chushi felt goosebumps rise. He gave a dry laugh. "It won't turn into a zombie, right?" Ruan Nanju. "I can't be certain." He looked at the sky. "It's getting late. It's best for us to stop our search and continue tomorrow. Let's head back." Lin Chushi approved of Ruan Nanju's suggestion. After all, in the world of the doors, night was the most dangerous time of day. "Let's go. We'll tell the townspeople about this child tomorrow," Ruan Nanju said. "I want to see how they react." The cannery was quite a distance from where they were staying. Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju hurried to make it back to the inn before the day turned dark. The group of people were gathered at the dining hall, silently eating dinner. Occasionally, there would be the sound of people discussing what they had found that day. Lin Chushi apathetically picked at his meal. Suddenly, there was a disturbance within the group. He looked and saw that somebody's nose had begun bleeding. "Hell, how come your nose started bleeding?" The Mon's companion asked. "Hurry and stop it with a tissue." I don't know, the man said. It just started bleeding while I was eating. The man got up and went to the restroom. Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju looked at each other and saw a certain something flash in each other's eyes. Once the Slenderman began targeting someone, there would always be warning signs. Some people had nightmares or they would experience hallucinations. Others had nosebleeds or they would cough up blood. They weren't sure whether this man's nosebleed was a coincidence or a warning sign. The man left quickly and returned quickly as well. When he came back, the nosebleed had stopped and he was currently complaining about the terrible food in the dining hall. Seeing that nothing had happened, Lin Chushi stood and left for their room with Ruan Nanju following behind him. After returning to their room, Lin Chushi lay on his stomach in his bed with his phone in his hand as he thought about the information they had gathered. Ruan Nanju sat beside him and read through Lauren's diary again. There doesn't seem to be anything else. We still don't have enough information. As it had gotten dark, Lin Chushi was feeling a little drowsy and said, "Let's go to sleep." Ruan Nanju agreed. Alright. After cleaning himself, Lin Chushi climbed into bed. He watched as the fog outside began to thicken. Ruan Nanju lay down in the bed next to Lin Chushi's and soon his breathing evened out. He seemed to have fallen asleep. Lin Chushi also closed his eyes. But in the silence of night, even a pin dropping would create a startling ruckus. Not to mention, Lin Chushi's hearing was quite sharp. He lay in bed, listening to a strange noise. It was the sound of someone shuffling through the underbrush. The creature seemed to be dragging something heavy and occasionally, there was the cracking sound of branches being stepped on. Lin Chushi immediately thought of that child in the tree they had seen earlier in the day, as well as the terrible sight had experienced as if a white cloth had slipped over his eyes. Lin Chushi felt a little cold and slowly turned over. Ruan Nanju, who should have been asleep, had opened his eyes. His gaze was burning. "Little Miss Mute, are you having trouble sleeping?" Lin Chushi glared at him. But before he could say anything, Ruan Nanju got up and walked over. Then he moved closer and lay down next to Lin Chushi, throwing an arm around his waist. Lin Chushi wanted to say something but was stopped by Ruan Nanju's thumb gently pressing on his lips. "Shush, be good." Lin Chushi, in Lin Chushi's momentary confusion. The two were sleeping on the same bed. Luckily, the bed was big enough so that it wasn't very difficult to fit two grown men. At first, Lin Chushi wanted to tell him to get off. But then he remembered Ruan Nanju's status as a sleeping pill spirit and hesitated. In the end, Lin Chushi did not say anything. The creature in the underbrush outside paced back and forth, as if seeking for an opportunity. At first Lin Chushi listened nervously, but later Ruan Nanju's calm disposition rubbed off on him, and he muddily fell asleep. When he woke up, it was the next day. When the morning of the third day came, nothing had happened that night. As usual, 14 people appeared in the dining hall for breakfast. It'd already been 2 days and, unexpectedly, nobody had died. This kind of situation was quite uncommon. While thinking about this, someone walked by Lin Chushi. It was the man whose nose had started bleeding during dinner the night before. He had an average look and shouldn't have any characteristics that would attract one's gaze. But when Lin Chushi glanced at him, he felt his brows rise. Unlike yesterday, this man was wearing a black top hat. This black top hat stuck out from the way he was dressed. But nobody else appeared to notice this inconsistency and not one of them even made a comment. "What are you looking at?" Ruan Nanju suddenly asked him. "That hat on his head seems very familiar," Lin Chushi answered. "We didn't see it on him yesterday, right?" Ruan Nanju's brows slightly furrowed. He looked over at that man and stared at him for a moment. "Yay, that's strange, but nobody seems to notice it," Lin Chushi replied. To be honest, Ruan Nanju put down the glass of milk he was holding. "If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have thought it normal as well." Lin Chushi, huh? Ruan Nanju, how do I explain this? It's almost as if he's supposed to wear a hat like this. Propping his chin, he watched the man from the corner of his eye. It doesn't stick out and it doesn't seem strange. Lin Chushi, but in reality, it really is a very strange hat. It's a hat that would only look appropriate on someone who was in full formal attire. Yet even when it's put together with that man's t-shirt and jeans, only Lin Chushi seemed to have found it strange. Ruan Nanju said softly, I think he will die very soon. Lin Chushi, that's what I think too. The two of them reached an agreement on this matter. That man didn't seem to notice anything off at all and was happily eating breakfast with the others. While he was eating, he told his companion about the dream he had last night. Lin Chushi easily eavesdropped on the conversation using his strong sense of hearing. I dreamed that some person had given me a hat and told me that I had to wear it, he laughed as he spoke. At that time I thought it was just a dream, but who could have guessed that when I woke up, there was a hat hanging off the branches outside of my window. It's a very nice hat, his companion said. It suits you. Under a normal circumstance, this compliment would have sounded perfunctory and half-hearted. But the speaker's tone was very sincere and Lin Chushi could tell that he meant it. He really did believe that this hat was very nice and that it suited his companion. It even sounded like he wanted to try it on for himself. Lin Chushi glanced at Ruan Nanju. Ruan Nanju seemed to understand what he wanted to say and nodded. He stood up and walked towards the man wearing the hat. Something seems wrong with that hat you're wearing, Ruan Nanju said. Hopefully it's not some cursed object. His meaning was clear and after hearing him speak, that man's expression turned alert. I don't think it is. What if information about the key is in it? Ruan Nanju shrugged. What if it isn't? That man answered, even if it's not, it's still fine, it's just a hat. Ruan Nanju did not reply and turned around to leave. If it wasn't for Lin Chushi, he wouldn't have spoken to him anyways. Since that man stubbornly refused to listen, Ruan Nanju simply considered himself to have completed his good deed of the day. Lin Chushi made a helpless expression and began carefully typing something on his phone. If I fall under the influence of that creature, you must wake me up. Ruan Nanju smiled ambiguously. Don't worry, he'll definitely use a method that won't hurt you to wake you up. Lin Chushi, why does your smile seem so strange? The man wearing the top hat left with his companion after finishing breakfast. Ruan Nanju had watched regretfully. Lin Chushi thought Ruan Nanju, like himself, was feeling regretful that this man may die. But he soon realized that what Ruan Nanju regretted was that he would not be able to see how this man would die. We could have farmed some experience from watching it. Ruan Nanju took out some candy from his pocket. He ate one himself and passed another to Lin Chushi. What kind of candy is this? It was Lin Chushi's first time eating candy with this flavor. It was Cheng Qianli who made it, so who knows what flavor it is. Ruan Nanju gave Lin Chushi another handful. Eat up. Little Miss Mute Tilda Lin Chushi shoved the candy into his own pockets. They had found that body yesterday and planned on telling the mayor. But on their way they passed by the notice board in the plaza and discovered that there was another missing persons poster. After carefully examining the new poster, they found out that another child had gone missing the day before and that they knew the child. It was Lauren's sister. Why did another child go missing? Lin Chushi frowned. Ruan Nanju confessed. I don't think this bodes well. There are only 8 children in this town. Lin Chushi thought for a while and said, so, this is our deadline? Ruan Nanju nodded. The information the NPC had given them did not include a time limit. But the appearance of this missing persons poster gave them a dispiriting reminder. If all the children in this town went missing, what would happen? Lin Chushi knew that he didn't want to know the answer. Ruan Nanju, let's go. We should find the mayor first. Passing through, they found the mayor in the series of rundown buildings behind the plaza and told him about the body they had found the day before. The mayor's expression was very solemn. But Lin Chushi detected a hint of panic. It was as if he knew what exactly had happened. Oh, thank you. Well, bring some people over to check it out, the mayor said. It's in the cannery, correct? Yes. It's in one of the withered trees at the cannery, Ruan Nanju replied. Sir Mayor, we really do want to help you find the children. If you know something and are keeping it from us, it'll cause a lot of difficulties for us. He pointed towards the plaza. We saw another child that appears to be missing. The mayor's brows knitted together and did not speak. Unless you want to wait until all the children go missing before you're willing to tell us more information? Ruan Nanju asked. The mayor rubbed his hands together, still refusing to speak. Ruan Nanju's eyes narrowed. Lin Chushi knew that he was growing impatient. Ruan Nanju wasn't in a good mood. He was at his limit of being polite and patient with the mayor. It's just that we don't know it really well either. It's unclear if it was because of the pressure under Ruan Nanju's scrutiny, but the mayor finally spoke again. Actually, incidents like these happen a few times every year. Ruan Nanju immediately dialed back his expression and gently smiled once more. Oh? What do you mean by, happens a few times every year? What I meant was that our town is the host of something strange. It always seems to want to take our children away, the mayor said. So during this time of year, we would always be on holiday and make the children stay at home. Ruan Nanju, do the rest of the townspeople know about this? The mayor shook his head. They don't know? Ruan Nanju found this somewhat puzzling. Then what excuse do you use to make the children stay at home? The mayor, we've always found a way to justify it, so that part isn't important. The problem is that this year, something unexpected happened. Ruan Nanju spoke up before he could elaborate. The unexpected thing was that despite staying at home, the children still disappeared? The mayor nodded. Miserably, he said, out of the 4 children who disappeared this year, 2 of them went missing at home. We don't know how the other 2 were able to get outside when they disappeared. Either Lin Chushi recalled the child they found at the cannery. He seemed to have been caught while he was near the cannery. As a result, we don't know what exactly is going on either, the mayor continued. Is it because the children weren't obedient, or is it because that creature Ruan Nanju, or if it had become more powerful? The mayor nodded painfully. At this, Lin Chushi immediately thought of that black top hat he had earlier that morning. There was no way that the top hat was unrelated to that creature the mayor spoke of. It's just that he doesn't know if it can be connected with the disappearance of the children. Chapter 57, The Black Hat. Once they had informed the mayor details about the child they found, the 3 of them headed towards the cannery. But once they arrived at where the body was found yesterday, Lin Chushi discovered that the corpse was gone. The hollowed-out tree trunk was the only proof that what they had seen yesterday was not their own imagination, and that everything truly did happen. Watching all these, Ruan Nanju frowned. Just as he was preparing to explain himself, the mayor behaved as though this was within anticipation. He sighed and said, the truth is, we've never been able to find them, never been able to find the children, never been able to find their corpse. The children from this town disappeared without a trace, never to return. Thus, it wasn't strange for their corpses to disappear. Moreover, a night had passed since it was first found. Ruan Nanju stared at the tree, sinking into deep thought. Even when the mayor had left, he did not show any signs of leaving. Lin Chushi knew that he still wanted to investigate the area inside the cannery, and so he quietly stood beside him. Say, why did this creature suddenly change? Asked Ruan Nanju. Is it really because it has grown stronger? Lin Chushi shook his head, indicating that he wasn't quite certain. Let's go. Let's take a look at what's inside. Ruan Nanju and Lin Chushi entered the cannery through a door from the side. The cannery had stopped its production for a very long time. The machineries were all corroding. Lin Chushi confirmed that power had been cut off from the whole factory. Neither the machinery nor the lighting systems could be operated. Ruan Nanju's gaze was focused on the canning machine. Lin Chushi followed his gaze, and although he didn't see anything out of place, he knew that something must have caught Ruan Nanju's eye. Ruan Nanju walked over to the machine and said, this machine had been recently operated. Lin Chushi, are you certain? There are signs of corrosion, though. Ruan Nanju, I don't know how they operated it. He looked around. Something feels off. Something indeed felt off. As soon as they had entered, Lin Chushi felt someone's gaze on him. It's just that he couldn't figure out where exactly it was coming from. Ruan Nanju seemed to recall something. Say, that person with the hat, what do you think will happen to him? Lin Chushi, perhaps disappear? Or die? Ruan Nanju smiled in response and did not reply. Lu Chushi had thought he was smiling at whim. Only when afternoon came and he saw that man with the hat again. Only was he aware of what Ruan Nanju was smiling at. The man with the hat had undergone a very strange change of physique. The man's limbs had begun to grow thinner and elongated. And he seemed to have grown taller, as well. While his facial features were still present, they appeared to be indistinguishable and it was difficult to clearly see what he looked like. If it was someone who did not know the hint, they may have felt a mix of bewilderment and horror. But Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju knew clearly what the changes signified. His body was morphing into one akin to that of the Slenderman. His arms and legs were long and thin, similar to a snake. He was slowly growing taller and finally, his face turned completely white and all facial features seemed to have disappeared under his skin. All of these changes had taken place within a day. It was something that would make one's blood freeze. Having seen all of these changes, Lin Chushi slowly looked away. Who could have thought, that Ruan Nanju would stand up suddenly. And after dabbing his mouth with a napkin, he walked into the direction of that man. Watching Ruan Nanju approaching, the man did not speak and instead looked up at Ruan Nanju with his barely discernible eyes. What Ruan Nanju did next scared Lin Chushi out of his wits. Lin Chushi watched as Ruan Nanju, smiling, suddenly grabbed that man's hat and pulled. Ah! A scream came out from that man's mouth. Lin Chushi was stunned at what he saw. He even thought that he had seen wrongly. That top hat was physically joined together with that man's scalp. Ruan Nanju's action was akin to trying to rip a limb off of that man with brute force. It was only to be expected that that man would react so violently. That man seemed to be in a great amount of pain as anger filled his eyes. Ruan Nanju let go of the hat and calmly apologized, "Sorry. I just thought that your hat looked way too beautiful and couldn't hold back from wanting to see what it would look like on myself." Having been praised, that man's anger subsided. He mumbled a reply. "I also think it looks nice." Ruan Nanju turned around and left. After watching this scene, the people in the dining room finally snapped out of whatever stupor they were in. They no longer felt as if the man with the top hat was still normal and their gazes on him began to fill with dread. That man left the dining hall after finishing his meal. Everyone else watched his retreating figure and sank into a turbulent, whispering discussion. What happened to his body? How did he turn into some unholy creature? How did we just notice something wrong with him? Has he turned into a monster? It's so scary. How do we even guard ourselves from this? Remarks such as this filled the hall. Yet both Lin Chushi and Ruan Nanju were very calm. Lin Chushi typed something and showed it to Ruan Nanju. "Should we follow him out and see what happens?" Ruan Nanju considered it for a moment before saying, "You stay here. I'll go take a look." Lin Chushi, "Let's go together." Ruan Nanju reached out to pinch his cheeks. "I told you to stay, so you should stay. Be obedient, little Miss Mute." Ruan Nanju was unyielding. Lin Chushi could only nod to show that he agreed. Ruan Nanju stood up and left, perhaps to track that man down. Lin Chushi didn't have the appetite to keep eating. He decided to return to their room. Unexpectedly, when he had reached the entryway, someone suddenly grabbed his arm. Lin Chushi turned and saw Wang Tianxin. Wang Tianxin was smiling at him, his expression full of a wicked intent. "Yo. Little Miss Mute, your friend not around?" Lin Chushi's expression was indifferent. He looked towards the dining hall and considered the consequences of beating Wang Tianxin up right then and there. Fortunately, before Lin Chushi could think of a way to proceed, Wang Tianxin, as if enlightened, stealthily pulled Lin Chushi towards a corner. Lin Chushi pretended to be helplessly dragged away. He even cooperatively put on an alarmed and frightened expression. "Don't be afraid, these sort of things are actually quite enjoyable." Wang Tianxin's smile was eerily sinister. Lin Chushi's fearful expression only excited him further. "It's not like this person can speak, so no matter what he does to her, did he already fuck you?" Wang Tianxin asked. "I promise that I am far more amazing than he is." Incredibly vulgar words came from his mouth. Lin Chushi took in their surroundings. After making sure that no one else was around, he smiled at Wang Tianxin. Wang Tianxin took that as consent. While moving to take off Lin Chushi's jacket, he heard the pitiable mute girl in front of him open his mouth and spit out, "Stronger my ass. I'll fucking end you." This voice clearly belonged to that of a man. Wang Tianxin froze the moment he heard his voice. This cease in movement wasn't temporary. Wang Tianxin soon realized that he wasn't a match for the person in front of him. Although Lin Chushi didn't regularly get into fights, he was still a grown man. Wang Tianxin, as someone whose body had long been emaciated by his tendency for lechery, was easily overpowered by Lin Chushi. Wang Tianxin's face was soon beaten swollen and he lay quivering under Lin Chushi's foot. "Lin Chushi, didn't you say you were more amazing than him? Just this? Worthless." Why don't you get up? Wang Tianxin was on the verge of tears. He had thought Lin Chuxi was weak, small, and helpless. It was now clear that in reality, he was the weak, small, and helpless one. He wasn't even a match for this mute Gurno, this master crossdresser before him. Wang Tianxin, I am sorry. I was wrong, big brother, I was wrong. He desperately pleaded, eyes imploring. Lin Chuxi, who's your fucking brother? Wang Tianxin, you bastard, remember this. If you dare harass me again, or tell anyone what happened between us right now, it'll end you. He bent down so that his mouth was by Wang Tianxin's ear. Coldly said, it's not like it's against the law to kill someone in here. Wang Tianxin trembled. He furiously nodded as if to say he understood. Lin Chuxi let out a breath. He took his foot off of Wang Tianxin and smoothed out his clothes. In a short span of time, he transformed back to that small and pitiful mute girl. Glaring one last time at Wang Tianxin, he turned around and left. Wang Tianxin watched as he left, his gaze restlessly uncertain. When Lin Chuxi arrived back at the dining hall, Ruan Nanju had already returned. Seeing him approach, Ruan Nanju asked, where did you go? Lin Chuxi typed on his phone. That Wang Tianxin tried something, so I gave him a beating. Ruan Nanju read what he had typed and smiled. Wow, amazing. Other people looked towards Lin Chuxi with sensual gazes. It was unknown what they imagined to have happened upon seeing Lin Chuxi's somewhat disheveled appearance. Thankfully, someone in the group could not bear to see this any longer and carefully walked towards Ruan Nanju to inform him that Lin Chuxi was taken away just now. Ruan Nanju, the bastard that he was, fell into dramatics again and slammed the table in anger after that person had finished speaking. He dares to touch my person? He then stormed off, and soon came the sounds of Wang Tianxin's wails and miserable pleas for mercy. Lin Chuxi took a sip of water, pretending that he didn't hear anything. Scums like Wang Tianxin deserved a proper beating to put him in his place. The man with a hat who had walked out just now had completely vanished into the little town within the blink of an eye. It's fear that he was most likely a goner. Lin Chuxi was long prepared for this outcome, so he wasn't shocked. But later that night, Lin Chuxi had an encounter. As Ruan Nanju was taking a shower in the washroom, Lin Chuxi was standing by the window, looking out at the trees and heavy fog. Night had just blanketed the town, and there was still some feeble light left in the sky shining on the gloomy forest enveloped in fog. Lin Chuxi could only vaguely make out the landscape outside. In the midst of the fog appeared a tall figure. That figure was at least twice the height of a normal person and stood quietly between the sparse trees. It seemed to be looking towards where Lin Chuxi stood. Both its arms and legs were disproportionately long, as creepy as the limbs of spiders. Its body was long and thin as its limbs, making it seem at place between the withered trees. Lin Chuxi tried to move his gaze away after catching sight of it shortly before realizing that it had moved. That creature moved slowly towards the window in monosteps, heading towards where Lin Chuxi was standing. Lin Chuxi was startled. His first instinct was to close the curtains. But when he touched the curtains, he noticed that it felt different from the material of the curtains in the inn. Lin Chuxi was very alarmed. He turned around only to be greeted by a room that wasn't the inn but his own home. That's right, the place where Lin Chuxi used to live in. The same living room, the same decoration, and the very same cat. Chestnut stood at the center of the living room, meowing at Lin Chuxi. It was a scene that should have brought warmth to Lin Chuxi's heart. But it only made Lin Chuxi's blood run cold. There was a man sitting on the living room's sofa. Although he could only view from afar, Lin Chuxi knew that that man was already dead. It was a carbon copy of himself that appeared to have been dead for a very long time. He was bloated over the course of time, and from his head to his toe, his corpse was oozing a green liquid. Chestnut jumped on top of the corpse and rubbed himself against it as it meowed, appearing to be in an attempt of stirring its owner. But how could a dead person wake up? Chestnut began biting at Lin Chuxi's face, trying to wake him with pain. But it hadn't been able to control its strength, and instead bit through his skin, to his bone. Lin Chuxi knew that the scene in front of him was what he feared most. He was afraid of dying alone, afraid that even if he had died at home, nobody would find him. It may be a week or even a month. until his neighbors smelled something strange coming from his apartment. Only then his body would be discovered. The sight of his own cat chewing away at his corpse was indeed something that made an incredibly uncomfortable scene, but Lin Chushi was able to quickly regain his senses. He remembered the information he had read on the Slenderman, and that these creatures were good at exploiting their victims' fears. It knew what humans were most afraid of. What they were most afraid of wasn't monsters, but the connotations monsters bring with them: death. Only very few people were fearless to death, but Lin Chushi wasn't one of them. The scene in front of him, however, was not able to strike into Lin Chushi's heart. He looked back towards the figure outside his window and whispered a reply, "I am sorry. Should I have told you that I'd already moved out?" The figure stopped moving. "Lin Chushi, I have many friends around me now. If I was dead, they'd know for certain." He thought for a while before adding, "They might even be able to call the ambulance and resuscitate me." The figure stood still in front of Lin Chushi. Although its featureless face was still hidden by the fog, Lin Chushi could feel its gaze on him. "So I am not very afraid." Lin Chushi's tone was incredibly calm, and this calmness wasn't made up. "Maybe try someone else?" Thud, something fell from a tree. Lin Chushi looked down and saw that it was a black top hat. At the sight of this top hat, Lin Chushi immediately thought of that man from their group who had worn a black top hat. It seems that misfortune had already befell this man. The Slenderman bent down and picked up the top hat. Lin Chushi thought that it would leave afterwards. But instead, as it held the hat in its hand, he made a gentlemanly bow towards Lin Chushi. Then, it turned and disappeared into the heavy fog. Lin Chushi stared at the retreating figure, confused. It was only when a pair of hands landed on his shoulders, did Lin Chushi turn with a start to see Ruan Nanju. "What are you looking at?" he asked him. Lin Chushi pointed towards the forest. "Just now, I saw that creature." Ruan Nanju raised his brow. "The Slenderman?" Lin Chushi nodded. "I saw one of its hallucinations." Ruan Nanju. "What kind of hallucination?" Lin Chushi. "That I had died at home and my cat was biting at my face." Lin Chushi's tone was indifferent, as if describing something wholly unrelated to himself. "Now that I think of it, Chestnut dislikes me so much right now. I don't know if I'd be willing to Ruan Nanju." He felt a sense of hopelessness at Lin Chushi's degree of cat worship. But no matter what Lin Chushi had experienced, he hadn't fallen under the control of that creature. If he had been, then Lin Chushi knew that the next person to end up wearing that hat would be himself. "Nanju, what are you scared of the most?" asked Lin Chushi suddenly. "Ruan Nanju, I am not scared of anything." "Lin Chushi, really?" Ruan Nanju smiled, fingers making twirls in Lin Chushi's hair. Caressing strands between his fingers, his whispered, soft and quiet, "Really? I am the same as you." His voice was confident, devoid of any false bravo. Just like that, Lin Chushi believed him. "I knew that ever since your first door," Ruan Nanju said. Lin Chushi. "Actually you're very suited for this." Lin Chushi raised a brow. "What do you mean?" "In the literal sense. You have a very strong ability to adapt." It was almost exorbitant. When Ruan Nanju had looked into Lin Chushi and confirmed that it was indeed his first door, he realized that Lin Chushi was someone who seemed to share affinity with the world within the doors. The odds of finding someone like him was very scarce. Ruan Nanju absent-mindedly thought, it was good, like his luck seemed good enough. And thus the night was concluded with everyone safe and sound as it ended in peace and quiet. The next day, only 11 people showed up to the dining hall. During the night, 2 had disappeared. The 2 who had disappeared were both young women. It seemed that they were fine before they all returned for the night, but nevertheless, when their companions had woken up, they were nowhere to be found. That creature had definitely taken her, somebody said. "This doesn't bode well." Nobody else spoke, but most of them agreed. Lin Chushi thought of the figure he had seen outside of his window the night before. He didn't want to guess at what would have happened if he did not calmly reject the creature's hallucinations. Would he also be like this young woman and disappear quietly into the night? Before Lin Chushi could reach a conclusion, they made another terrible discovery: another child had disappeared. "There are a total of 8 children in this town," Ruan Nanju said. "I think that the disappearance of the people in our group are linked to that of the children." Lin Chushi also felt in a similar way and said, Why don't we find the remaining children and see if we can get any information from them? Ruan Nanju, I want to check out the cannery again. Their gazes met and the two of them reached an agreement. Divide our forces? Ruan Nanju, that also works, but would not being able to speak cause any problems for you? Lin Chushi didn't think it would be that big of an issue. It'll be fine if I bring my phone. Ruan Nanju, alright, if you can't find anything, go back to the dining hall, we'll reconvene there. Lin Chushi nodded. The two separated on the road, each heading towards a different direction. Lin Chushi's destination was a rundown convenience store. He had heard that the owner had a 7-year-old son. When he arrived and made his explanations, the owner's attitude was full of defiance. My son doesn't meet with strangers right now, the owner said. I can't be certain that you will be able to ensure his safety. Lin Chushi patiently tried to persuade him. I understand what you mean, but you must know that the creature is growing stronger each day. If we don't find its lair and destroy it soon, the next child who disappears may be your son. The other missing children had been hidden inside when they disappeared as well. At these words, the owner seemed less unyielding. Lin Chushi continued to persuade him for quite some time until finally, the owner agreed to let Lin Chushi talk with his son, but not for too long. Lin Chushi let out a breath of relief. After entering the house, he saw a little boy sitting on the sofa, head lowered as he played with his toys. Lin Chushi approached him and used his phone to greet him. The child looked at him, as if not really willing to speak with him. He would answer some of Lin Chushi's questions but not others. Until Lin Chushi brought up the hat. A hat? Do you mean a black top hat? The child had looked quite fearful as if he was remembering something unpleasant. He swallowed. I think I've seen it before. Lin Chushi's eyes lit up. You've seen it before? The child's frightened gaze landed on a staircase. According to the shop owner, this building had 2 floors. The first floor was modified into a shop and the family lived on the second floor. The boy's room was on the second floor. I've seen it. That hat is hanging somewhere in the corners of the staircase. The boy was shaking and he stumbled randomly through his words, but Lin Chushi understood what he had meant. The little boy said that a dozen or so days ago, a black top hat appeared upstairs. But nobody else had found it strange, so they left it hanging there. Lin Chushi, the hat is upstairs? Can you take me to see it? The boy hesitated before nodding. Lin Chushi and the boy went to the stairs. Following the stairs upwards, the second floor quickly became visible, along with the hat the boy had spoken of. The second Lin Chushi saw the hat. He realized that something was wrong. He stopped walking as suspicions filled him. You said that this hat had been in your house since a dozen or so days ago. You other than this hat. You haven't ran into any other strange things? Lin Chushi did not believe that this Slenderman would be so patient so as to quietly wait a dozen or so days in this child's house. The child also stopped walking. He expressionlessly turned around and looked towards Lin Chushi. Lin Chushi was startled by the child's expression. When he was about to speak, Lin Chushi saw the child tilt his head. Then the child's head fell off straight onto the ground. Even though Lin Chushi had experienced many moments similar to this, his breath was still shocked out of him by the scene before him. The child's head rolled down the stairs and Lin Chushi looked back at the top hat. Out from the hat stretched out a deathly pale hand. The white hand extended longer and longer, as if it was searching for something. Once it determined Lin Chushi's exact location, it shot straight towards him. Lin Chushi turned and leapt out of the way and barely avoided its grip. He bolted down the stairs and saw the boy's head on the ground. Mouth stretched wide in a clever smile. Lin Chushi, are you out of your mind? How can you smile so happily after your fucking head fell off?